All right, guys, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you for being here so early and as always, waiting patiently for the stream to actually begin. I hope everybody is having a good day so far. I hope everybody's day is going well. It's been a relatively quiet week so far when it comes to news. A couple things still to go over, though. One of the things we're going to be talking about is a potential leak. And as always, with all leaks, we have to be very careful. The source is immediately very questionable. However, on the off chance it does turn out to be true, we are learning some interesting information. So I'm going to present that information to you guys, talk about it, give my thoughts on it, and you can make of it what you will. We're going to be talking about a new feature, a new benefit that's been added to PlayStation Plus. This was just announced today, and maybe this has something to do with the PlayStation Plus price increase. I don't know how much this is going to matter to subscribers of the higher tiers. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about Red Dead Redemption getting a 60 FPS update. And whoa, I'm trying not to whoa now. I'm going to stay on the rails. I'm going to stay on the rails here cuz Corey Landiga, bro. He's getting me off the rails immediately. I'm going to talk about the Red Dead Redemption 60 FPS update. I'm going to be talking about Housemarque, PlayStation Studios, big upgrades, and we're going to be talking maybe a little bit about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, I'm sure as many of you just saw, Corey, the legend, my God, man. The legend Landiga does it again. Not even 5 minutes into the stream actually starting, he just gifted 50 memberships. 50 memberships.
Holy shit.
Wow. Dude, Corey, seriously, man, thank you so much, dude. That is... Yeah, Corey's just like, here you go, man. I'm just going to leave 50 membership gifts right here. I don't even know what to say, dude. That is unbelievably generous of you. And just going crazy right off the bat. So, Corey Landiga just single-handedly, I mean, there's a couple of others here, and I'm going to be sure to shout them out. We have Brad Beck also gifting a membership. Brad Beck started off the stream gifting a membership, and we have Maple Wolfie actually re-upping their membership here, becoming a member, joining Greatness Awaits once again. So Maple Wolfie, Brad Beck, thank you guys, and a just colossal, massive shout out and thank you to Corey, the legend Landiga, who just comes in and decides he's going to drop a 50 bomb on this community. Corey, I really can't thank you enough, man. You just single-handedly, just obliterated the member goal today, which I have to update immediately. So huge, man. Absolutely huge. This is what I'm talking about with this community. I didn't even get a chance to tell you guys how you could support the channel because Corey's too busy just supporting it in a massive way for us. So let me actually update this goal really quick and we'll continue along here. Yeah, W's in the chat for Corey Landiga. So because he just dropped 50 memberships, I will let you guys know. I don't know how many people are new here right now. I'm assuming there are not many new viewers right now. There could be. If on the off chance you are a new viewer, click Corey's icon, his gift icon up at the top of the chat, and make sure you have the ability to be gifted memberships turned on. You have to opt in to receive a membership gift. So yeah, the W's are still flowing in the chat because it's just wow, man. That's I'm like just kind of speechless right now because I'm coming into the stream being like, oh well, it's gonna be a tame, quiet, relaxed stream, and like okay, we'll settle in here, and just right off the bat, Corey just gets things going in a crazy direction. So yeah, guys, one last time, let's give Corey Landiga, the legend, a big shout out in the chat right now because this guy honestly, he is a legend. He's been here for pretty much the entire year. Ever since we started doing membership gifts, he's been gifting memberships like crazy. He's been showing just immense, incredible support to this community. So definitely want to make sure I give him his props here, because he certainly deserves it. And anybody who shows support to the channel, really, it does mean more than you know. And yeah, I guess I will use this opportunity to just let everybody know, if you are new here, ways you can support me. Obviously, if you are a channel member, consider gifting channel memberships. It's a big thing we do here on the channel. If you do get gifted a channel membership, or if you do become a channel member, you gain access to exclusive members-only content. I have something I'm going to be doing this Saturday. I try to put out members-only content every Saturday. So look forward to that. And if you get gifted a membership, you gain access to that for as long as you're a member. You can also consider donating a super chat. I have a chat here from Devalac47 and Marcus as well that I'm going to be reading momentarily. But if you want to get more involved with the conversation and support my channel, consider donating a super chat. And once again, just a big thank you and a big shout out to everybody who shows their support. I'm still in disbelief that we are somehow at 52 members, not even 12 minutes into the stream. So yeah, Corey just stops by and is like, here you go, man. Here you go. Really quick, Chasing is saying, how can I get a free membership? Chasing, click Corey Landiga's gift icon at the top of the chat, and it'll ask you if you want to opt in to receive memberships. Now, I'm pretty sure all 50 of Corey's memberships were dispersed already, so you won't get it by opting in, but when you opt in, it will make it so that as we get more membership gifts in the future, you'll have a chance to receive one, okay? Yeah, wow. Corey getting us off the rails, which is fine, man. I very much appreciate it. Devalac47, a member for 5 months, says, big hype, new games, and happy PlayStation news for once. Yeah, I think if this leak that we're going to go over today is true, I do think it's actually very good news for Naughty Dog, which is welcome, but we do have to understand that this is just a random leak with no source. So we have no idea if it's true, but it sounds very plausible, which is why I want to cover it. And it's kind of fitting, considering I feel like the theme this week has been kind of focusing on Naughty Dog. And we have Fred ADHD Vance, another legend here. He comes in and he says, let's keep this membership train going. Corey starts this membership train in a massive way by dropping a 50 bomb. And so Fred says, you know what, let's follow it up with 5 more membership gifts. And then we have another legend. The legends are coming out, man. They always come out for these membership trains. Hellbound 1981 drops another 5 membership gifts. So basically 10 more memberships gifted. We're at 62 members, guys. That is insane. That is honestly insane. Fred, you're saying you're on lunch, so you tuned in. I appreciate that, man. That's just what I'm talking about. This community, you guys, some of you guys are stopping in on your lunch break, listening to what you can, and even in that time, gifting memberships to the community. That's a W in my book, man. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Hellbound. And then another legend. You guys are keeping it going, man. I know people want to get into the topics, but we got a full-blown membership train going. I mean, this is a massive membership train. Herpy Derps, another legend, drops 5 more membership gifts. That's 15 more gifts, guys. That's 67 members. We are this close to actually hitting our second goal, which is mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So Herpy Derps, dude, thank you so much. I got to give you guys a couple sound bites here. I'll give you a crazy Arnold. You guys are going crazy. I just actually watched a couple of Arnold videos on his official channel. I did get a question in the chat, somebody asking if I'm going to be talking about Housemarque and how their studio is getting like a major upgrade. Yes, we're going to be talking about PlayStation Studios today because I think it's actually good news. I think most of what we talk about over the course of this stream will be good news. I feel like the past couple streams, it's been a little bit, not so great which is fine. You know, you got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. Devil Shooter says, MBG, it's my dad's birthday today. Can he get a happy birthday? Yes, happy birthday to Devil Shooter's dad. I don't know if he knows, but Devil Shooter is an awesome community member who does timestamps for all of the streams. He does a great job. And so, happy birthday to Devil Shooter's dad. I hope it's a good birthday. Good stuff, man. Chasing, it looks like you are a member now. There you go. There you go, man. I think it seems like it worked. So, yeah, once again, before I move on here, thank you guys so much for the support. I know there are always going to be people who are not into the membership thing, and I understand, but just know that if it wasn't for their support, I'd probably only be able to stream once a week, truthfully, and I'm able to stream multiple times a week and produce videos as well and just keep everything flowing as best I can. So you guys are the real deal, so thank you for that. We're going to get a roadmap finally. Well, it is worth noting that the PS5 games that leaked, again, if it's a real leak, the PS5 games that we're talking about are specifically Naughty Dog games, but there are multiple projects that are being talked about. So, yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, so the last thing I'll just ask you guys, make sure you hit that like button if you enjoy the stream. It helps the streams out tremendously. We are going to, well, let me actually make sure I read what Marcus says. Marcus, a member for 5 months, says, how many members do you have? I honestly am not sure. It's quite a bit. The thing is, the reason why I don't give like a update on the member numbers frequently or really ever at all is because they're constantly shifting. They're constantly rotating. I think the peak amount of members we ever had was around 3,800. So just under 4,000. I don't think we're at that now. We're probably lower than that, but it's because every month it depends on how many memberships are gifted, how many people are choosing to become members, and how many people are choosing to retain their memberships. But we have quite a bit. We have a lot of people that choose to keep their memberships, which is very helpful. Very helpful, certainly. Very kind of them. But what I'm going to do now is dive into the first topic. And the first topic is actually going to be covering this new PlayStation Plus benefit. I have an article here from VGC. It says a new Sony Pictures app has been added to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, offering free movies to PlayStation Plus Premium and Deluxe subscribers. The app, titled Sony Pictures Core, will let users buy or rent up to 2,000 new and classic Sony Pictures movies, with example titles including Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man No Way Home, Uncharted, The Equalizer, No Hard Feelings, Bullet Train, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. However, Sony also says that PlayStation Plus members on the Premium or Deluxe tiers, I'm assuming Deluxe is the other version of Premium that's available in some regions, will also get access to a curated catalog of up to 100 movies to stream on demand. These movies will contain no ads, and the lineup will be updated periodically. Movies available during the initial lineup include Looper, Kingsglaive, Final Fantasy, I think was that 14 or 15, Elysium, and Resident Evil Damnation. The app will also have an exclusivity period where some Sony movies will be available to purchase first. The first of these in some markets, such as the UK, France, Germany, and Japan, will be Gran Turismo, which currently isn't available to purchase or rent in those regions. Gran Turismo is already available for purchase or rental in various streaming sites in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and has been added to Sony Pictures Core today as part of the app's release. This is just the beginning, Sony says, and we plan to evolve the offerings and benefits of Sony Pictures Core over time, including a selection of hit anime content from Crunchyroll. So there you go. I mean, look, to me, this is something that's not going to matter much, but it's something that's, I think, good. You know, we got the announcement from Sony I think like 3 weeks ago at this point, that they are raising the price of PlayStation Plus across the board. Now, if you are a PlayStation Plus Essential subscriber like I am, this doesn't do anything for you, which is unfortunate. I feel like it would have been better if Sony could have made this available for every PlayStation Plus subscriber. But if you are subscribed to PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium, or not Extra, I guess it is just Premium. I keep forgetting that Deluxe is a different name they use for Premium. If you're subscribed to PlayStation Plus Premium, this is another benefit you're going to get. You're going to get access to like 100 different movies from Sony Pictures, and they're saying that they're going to add some anime stuff from Crunchyroll. So I don't really know that something like this is going to move the needle that much. I don't know if this is going to make somebody suddenly feel like, well, it went from not being worth it to now it's totally worth it. I mean, maybe for some people, but I guess at the very least, it's something. It's a start. People were wondering if Sony was going to do anything with PlayStation Plus. Granted, this is not the biggest thing they could do, certainly not, but it is something nonetheless. And so I just kind of wanted to kick off this stream with this topic because it's not a major one, but something that I think people should be aware of. And so what I'm really going to be looking for, honestly, from Sony is, to me, this is a clear indication that they're willing to do more for PlayStation Plus. And they did announce that there's a day one game dropping for November for PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. So I guess we'll have to see if they plan to do more. Hopefully they will, because, yeah, I mean, PlayStation Plus is a lot of money, frankly. So it's like, the more benefits we can get, the better. You're saying this better. You're saying this better not be the reason for the increase, just to be able to buy or rent movies. Well, no, I don't think this. So my understanding of this, or the way I'm interpreting this, I should say, is this really isn't something that that Sony used as a reason to like increase the price of PlayStation Plus. I mean, Sony made it clear, right? Sony said in their press release, we've increased the price of PlayStation Plus, and we did so we can continue offering, the stuff that you're used to getting and keep it as high quality as we can. They didn't promise anything more. So this tells me that this was something that was already in the works, and they just decided, you know what? It's not going to really cost us anything to throw this into PlayStation Plus Premium. And, maybe it's just a little, I don't even want to say icing on the cake. It's just a couple sprinkles, I guess, maybe, can live without it. It's fine. It's not really that big of a deal, but it's kind of nice, I guess. It's something. Saying they need to give third-party games day one like Game Pass. I mean, they're trying. I don't think they're doing nearly as well. Well, not well. It's not a matter of whether they're doing well or not. It's just, it's clear to me that Sony doesn't want to spend that type of money on their service, right? Like Microsoft is securing these day one Game Pass third-party games, and it costs them money. It does. Quite a bit of money, as we saw with the leaks. And Sony's just like, okay, well, maybe we'll get a couple here and there where it makes sense for us. And I kind of, from the business side of it, I understand their priority is just simply not the service. And Jake Skew 27 gives us a little super sticker there, $2 super sticker. Thank you so much for that, Jake. And again, thank you guys for the support. So that's pretty much topic number one. Again, there's not really a whole lot to extract from this, but it's something that just came out nonetheless. Now, I want to move on to the second topic here, which is about Red Dead Redemption, and specifically Red Dead Redemption Remastered. So, reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, I did cover this in my video yesterday, but just in case some of you guys missed it, Leia wants to pay us a visit here. They say here Rockstar Games has quietly released a Red Dead Redemption 1 update that adds support for 60 FPS on the PS5. The new option seems to be exclusive to PlayStation 5 via backwards compatibility. Rockstar Games was heavily criticized following its announcement of RDR1's newest release. Fans were disappointed that the game turned out to be a straight PS4 port with a $50 price tag, with barely any noteworthy upgrades or improvements. To make matters worse, Red Dead Redemption 1 was locked to 30 FPS on both the PS4 as well as the PS5 when played via backwards compatibility. That changed yesterday morning when Red Dead Redemption 1 Update 1.03 was released. The official patch notes mention general bug fixes, stability fixes, and improvements, but players quickly noticed a new 60 FPS toggle in the display menu. At the time of this writing, this option seems to only be available to PS5 players. We'll make sure to update readers if 60 FPS support is added to the PS5. And it says here, Red Dead Redemption 1's 60 FPS support has not been added to Xbox because this specific version of the game was only released on PlayStation consoles. Unlike PlayStation players, Xbox owners have access to the original via backwards compatibility. And I'm not sure about this. You guys will have to let me know. For any of my Xbox players here, is Red Dead Redemption via backwards compatibility on the Xbox Series X is this 60 FPS already, or is it locked to 30? There's a little bit of confusion here for me. You're saying there are Xbox players here? I mean, I'm assuming some people here have Xboxes. Shems, you're saying 4K 60. Jay Shako is saying 30. Cole is saying it's 30. Yeah, so I was wondering about this because I did see that there were some people saying that Rockstar should do this for Xbox. But I thought MBG, it's a 360 version at 4K 30. Oh, wow. Really? That's actually kind of surprising. It makes me wonder if Rockstar is getting ready to release a Xbox version of Red Dead Remastered. I have to imagine they would, because I mean, it's like, I don't know. The game's already there, right? Let me see here 1 second. Looking this up. Well, if you're on PlayStation, and you have the Red Dead Redemption Remaster, you'll now be able to play it at 60 FPS on the PS5 specifically. This is pretty good. I mean, I still feel like sorry, guys. I still feel like what Rockstar did with the Red Dead Redemption Remaster is kind of sad. You know, I don't want to like harp on it again too much, but the problem here to me is that a game like Red Dead Redemption is so good and beloved that it's like, if you're going to re-release it at any point, you should try to give it the proper love and care and give it its due, basically. Because I don't know, when I imagine like a Red Dead Redemption remaster, I actually imagine something more akin to a remake, where it's the same type of graphical fidelity as Red Dead Redemption 2, right? It's got that same kind of look to it, the same level of detail. I think that this is what a lot of people were hoping for. And the thing that really did it in for me with this Red Dead Redemption remaster is the fact that they were just like, yeah, we're not really doing anything, right? Like, we're not going to change anything. We're not even going to add 60 frames per second. It's just a straight port, and you get just a bump in resolution. So it's like, I kind of understand why they would choose to do that, simply for the fact that they know they can get away with it. Like, they know they're going to be able to sell this game by doing the bare minimum. I'm just at least happy that somebody over there at Rockstar got the message that's like, come on, 60 FPS at the minimum, right? Like, you don't have to redo the assets. You don't have to really bump up the graphics themselves. Just increase the resolution and bump the frame rate up to 60, because we know the PS5 is more than capable of running this game at 60 frames per second. So it is really nice to see that they did add that. And so I don't know if this is a big difference maker to a lot of people, right? I don't know if this is a thing that people are going to now like flock to the Red Dead Redemption remaster on PS5 because it's 60 FPS. Jay Shako, bro, you didn't have to remove Zombie Fanatic's message here, man. You didn't have to remove it. I don't know if that was an accident, but the Zombie Fanatic says, MBG, I heard that Rockstar are going to have their own Game Pass with GTA Plus, where you get free GTA games like the Definitive Edition, and it will expand to include getting any Rockstar games for free. I did hear about this, yeah. Well, this is where things start to get really annoying with subscription services, right? Like, oh, you're saying Jay Shako, you're saying you already posted it. That's why. It's all right, man. Jay, I'll just let you know if somebody's like trying to get my attention and they post it like 2 or 3 times, I'm fine with that. Just to be clear with the I only really don't like people who are just continuously like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times saying the same thing. That to me is too egregious. So if it's like 2 or 3 times spaced out, I'm totally cool with that. Just to be clear. But I did kind of hear about this, and you look at TV subscription services, right? And it's all over the place. I mean, it's like every single IP owner has a service of some kind, and you have to feel like you need to be subscribed to like 5 or 6 or 7 different things just to be able to access the content you want to watch or consume. And I think we're kind of already somewhat there, right? Like I feel like we're already somewhat there in the gaming industry, where now there's like Ubisoft with their service, there's EA, there's Game Pass, there's PlayStation Plus, and I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting to mention. But now this idea that Rockstar might get involved, where they're going to have like Rockstar Plus or something, right? And I get it. Leverage what you have, make more money off of what you have, but I just feel like it's not something that excites me. I'm just not. I don't know, man. For some reason, just sub services. You're right. It probably is the future. It probably is. I don't know. I interact with movies and TV that way, and it has its pros and its cons. The pros of it is that it's convenient in the sense that all the apps are right there, and I can choose what I want to subscribe to. It's inconvenient for the fact that like anytime I want to watch something or gain access to something specifically, now I have to like, okay, where do I got to go? And I don't know. It can ultimately be cheaper, but you have to be on top of it, right? So it's like, well, I'm going to subscribe to this service. It's almost like you got to start having like spreadsheets for this stuff. I'm only going to subscribe to this service for this amount of time. So I can watch this thing, and when I'm done, I'm going to cancel that. But then I got to move over to this service, and I'm going to maybe stay for like 2 months because there's like 2 things coming out, and then I'll unsubscribe. And I think it just can become very easy to lose track of like all these different sub services, and especially when they just put recurring billing on. It can be annoying. It can. And actually, if you forget that you're subscribed to some of these services, it can get to a point where you actually end up paying more in the long run than you otherwise would if you just kind of bought this stuff separately to enjoy, which is kind of funny to think. MBG, the future is not subscription services. Look at the movie industry. They have all hit a ceiling and are losing money. Jim Ryan was right. The future is live service games. Well, I guess what I mean is I'm just trying to be open-minded in that it could be a future that the gaming industry is headed towards. Like, there is every possibility that the gaming industry could just follow the movie industry and end up on that exact same path where everybody's convinced that, yeah, the subscription service is the future of this industry, and maybe it's good for a little while and it works for a little while, but then, some kind of ceiling is hit and then something has to change dramatically. It's difficult to determine because there are many similarities between the gaming industry and the movie industry, but there are also many differences, big differences. And so I guess for me, just making sure everybody is aware of the options, I think, would be, on a consumer level, the best thing you can do. And I think we're kind of already there where it's like, hey, you can buy games digitally on a storefront if you want, or you can buy them physically if you want, or you can subscribe if they're available here. But, there are many options at your disposal. The real question mark when it comes to subscription services in this industry is what happens in the long run. What happens to development teams? How does it change game development? There's no doubt that game development will need to change if we start leaning more towards subscription services. It's hard to say if it would be a bad thing. I mean, look, we're running into problems now. That's the thing. This isn't about placing the blame on something like subscription services and saying, well, subscription services are the devil, right? They're the devil. We need to get rid of them. We can't, that's not something the industry should pursue or rely on. I don't think it's that at all. I think that there are many problems with the video game industry right now. And at the core of it, truthfully, I think it just comes down to expectation and consumer conditioning, if you think about it, right? Because a lot of these games we keep hearing, we talked about this a little bit on the last stream, but it's really interesting to bring up again, where it's like, when it comes to the expectation, well, why are these games getting more and more expensive, right? Is it because the expectation of the gamer is increasing more and more? So therefore, we need more development time. We need more polish. We need more detail. Detail has to be everywhere. Like I saw this tweet, and it really did kind of get me thinking, where it was this person, they said, you do not have to animate facial expressions or characters speaking. Look at Dark Souls. Look at most of From Software, if not all of their games. They don't animate their faces, and people don't care. People love these characters. They love the game just as much. It's almost like it makes no difference. It's because the writing and the voice acting is what brings the characters to life, not necessarily the facial animations. And I think that's a bit extreme, right? Like, I don't think the answer to reduce the cost of AAA video game development is, okay, no more facial animation. I don't know that would really make much sense. But the point, I was able to pick up on the point that they were trying to get across, which is, yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it's like, what really makes games memorable, what makes them good. And I really do believe that gamers in general have a very high tolerance for what could be lacking and what could be missing, depending on, how well the game as a whole is put together and feels to play. And I think the idea that, yeah, it is fascinating to me that a game like Dark Souls and, these From Software games, they have some of the most memorable characters. Some characters even become like memes and stuff, but they don't, they're like the polar opposite of what you see in, like, for example, like what's about to come out, Spider-Man 2, right? Like, Spider-Man 2 is obviously, the facial animation is a huge difference maker in this game. But the reason why I couldn't get fully on board with this person's tweet and what they're saying is because, well, they're different games. Like, we have to consider that, Dark Souls, I don't want to say the narrative, because the narrative is important in that game in the sense that people are going to be interested in it and want to learn about it. But let's be real right now. You're not buying Dark Souls for a cinematic narrative type experience. You're buying Dark Souls to experience that world, to experience that combat. And the story that you'll get from it will likely come in tidbits from these characters, but also the lore that you'll read about and probably watch videos about. And that's fine. That is a winning formula. It's a genre of its own, right? It's a Souls-like. It's a literal genre of its own. Whereas you look at something like Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2 is not Dark Souls. It's not a Souls-like in the least. It is a action-adventure game that has a heavy emphasis on the narrative and the cinematics. So this idea that, oh, well, let's just remove facial animation from Spider-Man 2, I think it would still work. Yeah, like I think people would still buy it and enjoy it, but it would feel the whole time like, man, there's something really sticking out here. Like it's really obvious that something's not right. And it would be obvious because it's like, here's a close-up of Peter Parker. He's photorealistic and his mouth isn't moving, but he's speaking, and what's going on here? I guess what I'm trying to say is that some games don't need something like that to make them feel complete, while other games do need something like that for them to feel complete. So it just ultimately comes down to there is not one singular solution. And that's kind of what made me laugh, because it's definitely good food for thought. But it's like, yeah, no, I don't think all developers unanimously deciding we're just not going to animate facial expressions anymore and, characters talking. I don't think that's going to solve the industry's problems. I think it would save a little bit of money, yeah, and time. But PlayStation Pete, thank you for the $5 super chat, man. You're saying, happy belated birthday, MBG. You're saying, you're not old. I will be 56 in November. Yeah, I know, man. I very much appreciate the birthday wishes. Yeah, I don't feel old. I feel like I should. I feel like I'm 30 years old. I don't feel very old. I don't feel too young. I feel 30. So, yeah, I appreciate that, but you're saying I only need to level up 3 more cameos in MK1 and wait for the Titan battles. I hear you, man. I'm right there with you. I actually did just get that trophy the other night for leveling up 5 cameo characters. Man, what a nightmare of I kind of enjoyed it. I won't lie. I enjoyed the grind, but at certain points it did feel kind of like a nightmare, because it's like, why do you need this much XP to level up your cameo characters? But I now only need the trophy for battling the Titan and defeating a Titan, which, yes, I think that's going to become available in the next 2.5 weeks or so. And then after that, I will have the platinum for Mortal Kombat 1, which will feel great, because I went from being unsure if I was even going to buy Mortal Kombat 1 to getting addicted to it to now basically being on the cusp of platinuming it. So definitely a journey there, man. So thank you again for the super chat, PlayStation Pete. We have Jake Skew 27 with a $5 super chat. He says, hope you have a good day. I have to go to a funeral. It's my grandpa. See you on Sunday. Well, sorry for your loss, man. Funerals are never, I don't say they're never, I don't want to say they're definitively bad, because they can bring people together, and it's a remembrance thing and in a way kind of honoring somebody's life and celebrating it. But either way, I'm sorry to hear about your grandfather, but I hope you have a good day as well, as good as it can be. I appreciate that, Jake. Thank you for the support. Let me see. I feel like I got totally off track with so I guess I was just talking about problems in the industry. I don't know that I want to. So I talked a little bit about that for the past 10 minutes. There are problems in this industry, and I feel like I've been spending too much time focusing on, on what I think could solve the problem. I don't want to focus too much on that today again, because I feel like it's just been a little bit too much lately. It's not all bad. I think sometimes it can feel like that when there's a week where there's layoffs and development problems and, the cost of everything. I get it, man, but it's not all doom and gloom. I guess I'll just say one more time that, to me, I think a viable solution for PlayStation is more Miles Morales-esque experiences, right? I think Sony maybe coming out and saying, all right, well, maybe it's okay if we allow some of these development cycles to shorten, to be 3 years and not 5 years. And maybe because of that, the game is not as, it's not as packed. I think that's okay. And $50 I think is a good price point. So I guess I'm just proposing this because it really might be a viable solution for PlayStation specifically, considering that PlayStation is really, I think, at the center of these bigger AAA 5 to 6 year experiences. We've seen Naughty Dog do it with what was that Uncharted game? Lost Legacy. We've seen, I think, Sucker Punch do it with infamous First Light. We've seen Insomniac do it with Miles Morales. And so I guess I just think that it would be... What I'm trying to say is Sony has been doing that, and I think leaning more on that and putting a little bit more reliance on that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. I think it could actually maybe really help. Yeah, that's crazy. If true, you're saying Lost Legacy took about a year to develop. Oh, I think you're right. That's kind of crazy to think about. Huh. Yeah, maybe we need more stuff like that. It's hard to say if we'll get more stuff like that or not, though, because now that Sony is pursuing live service games, it's hard to tell how much that might impact it. Ooh, that coffee is strong. Oh man, what is up with that? That's either a really strong brew or I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's up with that. It's not horrible. It's just unexpected. A little bit bitter. Think positive, MBG. Think positive. All right. Well, I want to move on to the leaks. Okay. Now, I warned you guys earlier that this is from an unverified source. And it's likely not. We're likely not going to see verification until we learn from Naughty Dog what they're doing. But I did want to talk about this because I think there could be truth to this. It all sounds highly plausible. Before I do that, though, I have a milestone chat from Joshua. He says, do you think Sony will continue to chase games as a service now that Jimbo is leaving and the troubles they seem to be having with these games? My short answer is yes. My long answer is I think Sony has invested too much at this point to just walk away. I think that what's happening right now is we're getting some insight into Naughty Dog and their development of this live service Last of Us multiplayer game. And we're finding out that it's been problematic. It's not going well. They're running into some issues. And I think this is leading some people to think, okay, well, the live service bubble is bursting for Sony and they're going to backtrack and they're going to reverse course and or change course. And I don't think that's happening at all, frankly, the more I think about it, because, okay, maybe Naughty Dog is not going to be able to produce a live service game. But what does that mean for Firewalk, a studio that Sony just bought because they're making a live service game and they were so impressed by it that they were like, yeah, we'll buy you and bring you on board. What does it mean for Haven? Same thing with Fair Games. What does it mean for Bungie? Especially Bungie. You know, Sony invested more money in Bungie than they have pretty much anything else in a short period of time. What are they just going to say? Well, I guess we just wasted our money there. No, I don't think so. I do think Sony still fully believes in Jim Ryan's live service vision. But I just think that at this point, especially with this leak we're about to go over regarding Naughty Dog, I think it's becoming clear that, okay, we should probably scratch Naughty Dog off the list, right? If we had 10 live service games in development, let's drop that down to 9 now, because Naughty Dog isn't going to be able to, they're not cut out for live service. And I think a lot of people would be okay with that. Dan, you're saying Factions is coming out. I don't think it's not coming out. I just think that there is another important piece of information here, that it's so hard to determine if this means the game's going to get canceled or that the game's actually done and they just have to figure out the details, I guess, and how they're going to deliver it. But let me read this leak to you, okay? So this comes from 4chan. I know. But the reality is, on rare occasion, we find out that some of these 4chan leaks were actually correct, and that this is sometimes where people go to divulge this information because it's the safest way. If you're somebody who actually wants to give real details about important things and you don't want to risk getting in any kind of trouble or getting caught, sometimes you go to 4chan and you just dump that shit there and let people make of it what they will. And so I'm not saying believe this or trust it, but I'm saying let's just go over what's being said and see what we make of it. So first off, the title is Naughty Dog Leak Anonymous. This was posted Saturday, September 30th, actually. So it's a little bit, I don't know why it's so, I didn't realize it was so old. And this is interesting to me because, let's go over the first leak. New Naughty Dog IP. The new Naughty Dog IP is a third-person shooter and plays very similarly to Mass Effect 2 with a choice system, companions, and everything that goes along with that. The plot is about the discovery of a solar system that has a giant eye for a star in the galaxy, and about human civilization pretty much freaking out, believing it might do something horrific to them. It's going to, and this, to me, this is interesting because this is how we're going to know if this leak is bullshit or not. They're claiming that this game is going to be announced this year. Now, that to me, I struggle to believe. But at the same time, there is a part of me that thinks, well, Naughty Dog hasn't had good news literally all year. Naughty Dog has just had bad news the entire year. So this idea that maybe at the Game Awards, they're like, all right, let's drop something huge here and get some positivity, back. You're saying TLOUS Vicarious music video? Oh my God, is that what it is? Is that what's being described here? That would be so funny. Now let's talk about the plot of this. I think a lot of people are like, does this sound like something Naughty Dog would do? A part of me believes it a little bit, right? I mean, a part of me, I think that this person's doing a really terrible job describing it, but it sounds like it could be quite dramatic. So here's the part that I do find hard to believe. The drama is there, right? It sounds like it could be pretty cool, but the part that I find hard to believe is it just sounds so kind of out there. You know what I mean? But I'm almost, what's kind of funny to me about this though, is this sounds almost like it would be, or it is a sci-fi game. What if this is Santa Monica's game? What if this is Sony Santa Monica's game and I don't know, something is getting, the wires are getting crossed here, because Santa Monica Studio is working on a brand new IP and it's been rumored to be a sci-fi game. And this kind of sounds like it could be exactly that. But I don't know. Human civilization freaking out. I mean, it does sound pretty kind of apocalyptic. So that would be. It says here it's going to be PS5 only. No word on a PC version. So that is what the leaker is saying about new Naughty Dog IP. And yes, I agree with Jack. Don't get your hopes up. Like, again, this is just, who knows if this is true or not. We're going to find out if this is true before the end of the year, because this person is claiming the game is getting announced this year. Now, in my opinion, the only way it could get announced this year is if Sony wants to reveal it at the Game Awards, which, I don't know, man. That would be a pretty big reveal at the Game Awards. Sony would steal the show, though, if they did that, frankly. Boycott activity with a $5 super chat saying, do you think Sony will continue to chase single player after the closings of Sony Japan, Pixel Opus, Team Ico, with all the trouble they're having with these games? It's a good question. The way I'm reading your question is not so much, will we continue to get single player games? I think we both are in agreement we will, like Sucker Punch, Sony Santa Monica, Naughty Dog, like these established studios that are good at making single player games. I think we all are in agreement they're going to continue to make these single player games. But the question you're asking is Sony going to try to find studios that specialize in making first person, or not first person, single player games? Or are they just going to kind of not risk that, because it seems like, if they're not, if it's not a guarantee that these guys are going to be good at making single player games, maybe the risk is too high. It's a good question. I want to say I believe Sony is still going to pursue that type of stuff. And I just don't see what benefit they could get by avoiding it. I mean, yeah, you're avoiding risk, of course. You could save some money, but you could also be missing a massive opportunity, right? Like, there's that one studio called Ballistic Moon. It's been leaked. It was leaked a while ago. It still hasn't been announced that they're working on a new AAA single-player horror game. And they're partnered with Sony. Is a veteran team. I think they were formed by Supermassive developers. So it's like, that could be the next big thing for Sony, right? It could be. Yeah, it's not live service. It's not multiplayer. But if the talent's there and they deliver a good game, who knows? Like, this studio could end up being a future PlayStation studio if they do well enough. Sony has had a history of kind of partnering with these teams and being partnered with them for like years and funding their games and supporting them, but not owning them. And then eventually, like what we saw with Housemarque and Bluepoint, it's like, you guys proved yourselves. Do you want to take it to the next level? Do you want to become part of PlayStation Studios and we'll grow you? And that's another topic we're going to be discussing, how Housemarque is getting a massive upgrade to their studio. Gaming Survivor says, Sony hired me as Chief Milkification Officer. That's quite the job title, Gaming Survivor. Quite the title. So, boycott activity, my answer to you is I do think Sony is going to continue to pursue these single-player games with partnerships. I just think they might become a little bit more picky, which would be kind of understandable. All right, let me see here. We have Dark Horse saying Last of Us mobile game. Yeah, dude. Last of Us mobile game. Let's go. I would try it, but man, that sounds like a nightmare. All right, so there's more to this leak, okay? Factions multiplayer. Now, this is where I don't know, it sounds it sounds very plausible. Currently, it's experiencing severe development issues, but it's close to completion. It might come out next year. It plays like The Last of Us Part 2, but it's multiplayer with huge maps and a personal survivor camp mechanic. It's one of the 15 games as a service games Jim Ryan commissioned, so prepare your wallet. And what I don't like about this leak is how vague it is, and that's what makes me kind of suspicious, right? Like, you're saying severe development issues, but it's close to completion. I mean, that sounds plausible, and I want to use this opportunity to report on something else. Naughty Dog's troubled long into this is being reported by Push Square. Naughty Dog's troubled long in development multiplayer adaptation of The Last of Us has lost one of its most important employees, the man tasked with making money. Anders Howard was recruited by the award-winning studio last November as the release's principal monetization designer. In other words, he was tasked with creating systems that would presumably encourage players to part with their money for cosmetics, buffs, and other items. However, considering the project is all but canceled at this stage, it looks like there's no role left for Howard. Less than a year after he joined the team, he's updated his LinkedIn page to confirm his work ended in September 2023. This aligns with recent reports we've read regarding various layoffs and redundancies at the developer. We can't say many will be sad to see the departure of a principal monetization designer, but it was always going to be essential in a live service game. Unfortunately, it looks like we'll never get to see what Naughty Dog was cooking, and it makes for quite a concerning generation in general for the California-based first-party studio. 3 years into the PS5 era, it's only released a remake of The Last of Us. So, this to me, I think, confirms this leak might be total BS because severe development issues, but it's close to completion. Now we're hearing the chief monetization officer left. However, there is something else I want to pose here. Now, something we can infer with the chief monetization officer leaving Naughty Dog is that the live service endeavor for Naughty Dog is over. It is. Okay. They clearly were all in with this game. They clearly believed that factions multiplayer would be, it was going to be The Last of Us Fortnite. It was going to be The Last of Us Warzone and GTA Online. Like, that's what this was going to be. And something happened along the way where they just found out that's not what it's going to be. Now, I'm not convinced that the chief monetization officer leaving means this game is canceled, and I'll tell you why. This leaker is saying the game is running into a severe issue, but it's close to completion. I think this game, I'm telling you, I think this game is done. We've heard nothing about the game not being playable or not being, the development of it like going poorly. The only things we've heard about The Last of Us multiplayer from the leaks and from the reports is that it's just not going to work as a live service game. It's just not. And I get this feeling that Naughty Dog is currently sitting there with an entire multiplayer game that they're being told you can't release this. We have to think about how we're going to release this, because, or if we're even going to, because this is not going to be the moneymaker we thought it would be. I mean, we recently just heard that this game is on ice On ice doesn't mean canceled. I don't know. Listen, Sony has proven, and I just want to make this clear, because this is something that a lot of people are not considering. Sony doesn't hesitate to cancel games if it's not working. I mean, especially under Jim Ryan, it's no nonsense. If the game's not coming together, it will be canceled. If the studio isn't functioning, they will be shuttered. There, Jim Ryan in that sense has been just no nonsense. He's to the point. I get this feeling, and I'm not saying this even from a hopeful standpoint, because I've just already come to terms with the fact that this game, it's just not going to be what I thought it was, and it might not be a thing ever. But I really am beginning to think that this is just going to be a matter of, okay, how can we recoup our cost? Because I think that's something a lot of people are not considering right now, is that if Sony decides to cancel this, they just lost a shit ton of money and are getting nothing back. I mean, they could write it off, of course, but they've sunk a good amount of development time and money into this, and I'm almost wondering if at this point they're just going to end up deciding, let's just sell it as a game. $40. Give it the Helldivers 2 treatment. Last of Us Factions 2, $40. It's way bigger than the first one, but it's not a live service. And it might not even, I mean, it'll get like updates and tweaks here and there, but this is the game. But if you think about it though, they might not be able to do that, because that sets a precedent. That sets a precedent of Sony saying, see, we're not just always going to make live service games, we're going to make regular multiplayer games. And I don't think Sony wants to make regular multiplayer games. That's why I think they don't know what to do with it. I really think Sony doesn't know what to do with this game right now, because I think that the realization is that we can't make this a live service. It's just not going to work. Naughty Dog isn't a live service team. So what do? Do we just throw it all out? Do we just scrap it? Do we sell it standalone? Do we package it with The Last of Us Part 2 remastered? Because again, if you do that, you're setting the precedent. You're saying, like, we're still doing multiplayer like this. But in reality, they're probably not. And we have Matt Fu. Matt Fu, a longtime member, keeping the membership train alive and thriving today. Matt Fu gifts 5 more memberships. Guys, we are now sitting at 72 memberships. That's crazy, dude. We're not even an hour and 15 minutes into the stream. We're sitting at 72. We are now 3 members away. 3 memberships away from hitting 75, which would be a second goal, a second milestone hit today. So Matt Fu, thank you so much, man. We got W's flowing in the chat. Really appreciate the continued support, man. So there you go. Let me update this. I actually just realized I didn't update. I've been letting this sit at 52 for a while. We've been beyond 52. We're actually at 72 now. Let me see. Oh, and you know what? I looked over for a second as I was updating it. Hellbound 1981. He says, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get past 75. He gives 5 more memberships. So Hellbound, I think that's 10 total memberships gifted from you today, buddy. The legend doing what he does, man. The legend doing what he does. That brings us to 77. Absolutely huge. Thank you guys so much once again. Let me update the member goal, and we will keep this conversation going. 77. There we go. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Hellbound, Matt Fu, everybody else. Thank you. Thank you for the continued support. Tom from Toonami says, it's canceled. We just need to accept it. Well, that's not fair, though. You know, I think what you're trying to say is we should just prepare ourselves for we should just prepare ourselves for the worst, which is the announcement. Yeah, it's canceled. And I get that. I get that, but I can't accept that yet simply because that's not what we're hearing. Like, we're hearing it's just up in the air right now. It's on ice. Like, they're just keeping it there. And it could just get shelved. You know, this does happen on rare occasion where things just get shelved and they sit on that shelf for decades or forever maybe, and they never actually get canceled. So if that's what you're saying, like, we might just have to accept that it's not something we're going to experience, but it'll never formally get canceled. Yeah, I could kind of see that being the case, which to me, what's just crazy and absurd about that is that, like, the only way I could see that happening is if the game is just bad. And I have a hard time believing that. Like, listen to the description from this leaker. Again, maybe it's made up, but they're saying it's The Last of Us Part 2 gameplay, which is incredible. Like, you already know it's going to play well because The Last of Us Part 2 had phenomenal, stellar gameplay. Multiplayer with huge maps. So this tells me that this might not be, like, super PvP focused. I'm assuming, like, there can be PvP in these maps, but it almost sounds like it's going to be slightly open world. You know, open zone, I guess, in a way. A personal survivor camp mechanic. Dude, I'm telling you, this game sounds exactly like what I thought it was going to be this whole time. What the fuck went wrong, dude? What went wrong? I saw somebody saying that Sony might be buying IP from Konami, or saying it just leaked. Where is this? You're saying this just came out? Where are you hearing this from, man? Because that sounds, frankly, not believable. You have to let me know. Bungification. It's just film and movie rights from Sony Pictures. Oh, okay. Well, that's still pretty cool. I mean, if true. Tom, you're saying you'll take sources like Jason Schreier over and Insider Gaming over, like, random leakers. Well, here's the thing, though, is even what Jason Schreier said, like, at no point did he say that the game was canceled or that the game is bad. He just reported that Bungie reviewed it and said there's serious questions about the long-term viability, you know, the player retention. Like, there's not enough end game. And this is what's this is what's so fucking weird to me, because it's like, maybe there's something being lost in translation here where, okay, if the problem's the end game and keeping people coming back with the grind, like, surely that's something they could figure out. I mean, like, it doesn't sound that difficult. Like, that's completely different from, like, the game is fundamentally broken. You know, like, if a game is, like, fundamentally broken and it has to be scrapped, I mean, yeah, that's one thing. Bungie cares more about virtue signaling than making good games these days. Oh my God, yeah, dude, did you see, they got fucking cooked on Twitter recently. I don't know if you guys saw that. Bungie got fucking cooked because they were, yeah, I'm not even gonna, like, talk about it, but yeah. Yeah. I don't want to get into it because it's like political stuff. It's not that, like, it doesn't have to be that serious. Like, Bungie's stupid. I'm sorry, dude. They're just stupid. Like, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, where it's like, there's a really easy way to fix your mistake here, and you're just their Bungie's answer to fixing their mistake was, we're just gonna delete the replies. And it's like, oh, bro, what are you doing, man? What do you fucking make video games. Just stop. Please just. I'm sorry, man. I know some people might not be aware of what I'm talking about. It basically just go on Bungie's Twitter and you'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's just wild. It's wild. And you know, I just want to say the timing, just the timing of seeing them get cooked so badly on Twitter, and I'm focused on like this Last of Us leak and what's going on, you know, with them reviewing their game. It's just weird timing, man. So you don't have Twitter, it's better that way. Yeah, if you guys want to know, MD is posting about it in the chat right now. MD is posting about it. He's providing the context. I'm not trying to dive into it. I don't want to get too off track. Dark Horse, you're saying, what if they shutter Naughty Dog? No way. No. The worst thing that I could see happening to Naughty Dog, because a lot of people are placing the blame on Neil Druckmann, and I kind of understand that. I mean, a lot of the original people that made Naughty Dog what they are gone, and Neil Druckmann's pretty much the only one left. And a lot of people, you know, Evan Wells recently just announced his retirement, so now it's just Neil Druckmann, and a lot of people think that he has already ruined Naughty Dog or will continue to ruin them further as long as he's in charge. And I mean, I think the worst thing that would happen is Naughty Dog would never get shut down. Sony would be crazy, but I could see them getting like a big shakeup, right? A big leadership shakeup. And we have Shadow Gamer 24. Dude, Shadow Gamer 24 coming in out of nowhere saying we are keeping this membership train going today. We're keeping it going. Shadow Gamer 24 drops 5 more memberships for the channel and the community, and that brings us up to 82 memberships. Guys, we are 18 members away from hitting 100. Less than an hour and a half into the stream today. You guys are incredible. Seriously, thank you guys so much for that type of support, man.
Appreciate it.
So let me add that to the counter. We're getting ever closer to hitting the 3rd milestone of the stream. Wild. So Shadow Gamer 24, once again.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, buddy. Let me see, where am I at here? Brett, you're saying The Last of Us 2 remastered with multiplayer. Brett, I agree. To me, this is the most likely situation if the game doesn't get canceled. If Sony decides like we have to do something with this, maybe package it in with The Last of Us 2. Because I'll tell you what, The Last of Us 2 remake or remaster, I'm not buying it. I'm good. You know, you put that multiplayer in there, I'm a day one buyer. $70 and everything, I'll buy it. 100%. Yes, I'll be there. So that to me sounds like something they could do. And if that's the only way they can make it work, I'd be okay with that. Because I just want it to be known, guys. I want it to be known. The weirdest thing about this, Naughty Dog made Sony money in multiplayer already. I want you guys to really think about this for a second. Naughty Dog had Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and they had the original Last of Us factions, and these games had microtransactions. These games had DLC, and they made money. Now, granted, they weren't like the top 10 most played games, and they weren't necessarily treated like the same way that popular live service games are treated today, but they had frequent enough updates to where players were still giving them money. Like Sony was still making money on The Last of Us and on Uncharted 4 through these games. This is why it makes almost no sense to me that this gets canceled. Because it's like, at the very least, what you could do is just release it as a, update for The Last of Us Part 2 or as a standalone, and you can still make money off of it. Like, that's what I almost think the reason why it might be on ice is because Sony wants to let Naughty Dog get... What the fuck? What the hell was that? Hold on, guys. I just got like a weird ass Xbox notification on my fucking computer. What the hell? Now it's disappeared. Okay. I didn't even get to read what it said, but it looked weird. I've never got a notification like that. Dude, they're listening to me. That was so weird. That was so weird. I've gotten other Xbox notifications, but that one just like popped up in the middle of my screen. Yeah, it's Game Pass invading, man. They breached. That's so funny. Sorry. Yeah, but getting back to what I was trying to say, if Xbox would not distract me so much, I almost think that the reason why they're putting it on ice is because they're like, you know what? We have to get Naughty Dog out there and we need to let them make their new game. We need to let them finish their new game first and release it. And then after that, they can come back for to this Last of Us multiplayer and they can figure it out. Because I just simply don't understand why Sony would decide you guys could have made us some money, but you can't make us all the money. So we're just going to have you make us no money with multiplayer. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see why I'm saying this doesn't seem to make any sense? There is more to this story, and I am dying to know what that more is, because it's not as clear-cut or simple as, oh, we just need more time. Right? Because that's what Naughty Dog said. That is the only thing they said. We need more time. But every sign we're getting is that more time for what? You guys are walking away from this game. The lead monetization guy just left. The QA testers are gone because they have nothing to test anymore. The game is literally frozen. So it's like, when you say you need more time, do you mean like you need literally years? Like we need time to go make our single player game, and then when we're done that, maybe we'll come back to it? Because that's fine, but it's just there's a key missing component to this entire conversation. And seeing a leak like this, again, getting back to the leak, it's painful to read this because, again, it could be made up, but it sounds fucking incredible if it's true. The Last of Us multiplayer game plays like Part 2. It's a multiplayer experience with huge maps, a personal survivor camp mechanic. That sounds awesome. And it sounds like that's just scratching the surface. It's just like, maybe it comes out next year. Now, there's one last part of this leak. And before I read that, I want to read the rest of these super chats. We have subtext saying, what bothers me most is that the only clear issue with factions is monetization crap. Original report was focused on long-term viability, and the money guy just left. Remember the dev who said, it smells good in this kitchen? They were cooking, and the team seemed proud. We may never see that vision, though. Are we back yet? Guys, I need some feedback here. Are we back? I don't know what happened. Did my internet just drop for a minute? Okay. We're good. That, for some reason that happened. It's Xbox, dude. It's Microsoft. They're fucking with me today. They're messing with the stream. First I get that notification, then before you know it, my stream gets dropped for a minute. What's going on? What's going on? Cortana. We're good now, though. Hopefully that won't happen again. Subtext, what I was trying to say about your super chat is I fear that you might be completely correct. Because you're right. I forgot about that. There were multiple Naughty Dog developers working on this Last of Us multiplayer where after the update from Naughty Dog came out, they were like, guys, relax. It smells good in this kitchen. Like, it's coming together good. Like, they clearly feel that they made something good. And it really would not sit well with me if this whole situation is turning into a nightmare because they're like, well, how do we make all the money off of it? Like, basically what I'm saying, you're saying it sounds like PR talk, but that's the thing is like they were just replying to fans, like it wasn't on Twitter, like casually. It didn't sound like PR talk. We got the PR message from Naughty Dog themselves where they said, we just need more time. I don't know, man. It's just depressing me at this point. I know that this entire week has been so consumed by this Naughty Dog conversation, and frankly, that's just because there's not a whole lot else to discuss right now. I mean, yeah, we're on the verge of Spider-Man 2, but I just think we're kind of at that point where it's like, I've seen enough of it. I wouldn't mind seeing more of it, but I'm ready. And in the meantime, I'm just this is a game that I really thought we were going to see this year, and I actually thought it might, like a beta or something of it might release this year. And I don't know. Sigh. But yeah, it's a good call out, Subtext. I totally forgot that we did have some Naughty Dog developers saying that. You're going to come out and be like, yep, house on fire. All right, let's see. We got... Oh, Tom from Toonami again saying Bungie is being sued today too. They are a mess. Are they? What are they being sued for? Dude, I would not be surprised if Sony ends up like selling Bungie or just basically doing what Activision did where it's like, listen, you guys are a headache. We don't want to deal with this. Okay? Let's part ways here. Maybe not. Saying they'd step in first. I don't know. That's the thing is like, you might think, well, Sony would basically drop the hammer on Bungie if they thought Bungie was getting out of hand or whatever. But Sony might not be able to. We don't know the details. I mean, something that seemed to be made clear with Bungie being acquired by Sony is that Bungie maintains complete autonomy and has complete control over what they do and how they do it. And it almost sounds like if Sony were to infringe on that, then Bungie can break away at will somehow. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm assuming if it's in a contract, then it is a thing. We don't know what the clauses are. We don't know what the terms are. But yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it's better that way. Maybe Sony knew this, though. Maybe Sony knew Bungie will probably bring with it a little bit of drama. So we'll kind of keep our distance. Dark Horse, thank you for the $10 super chat, man. You're saying Sony's house is on fire. In my opinion, Bungie's being sued for wrongful termination. People are leaving Naughty Dog, and if they don't deliver a Last of Us 2 multiplayer, this could leave Sony subject to a class action lawsuit. Well, the last part you say here, Dark Horse, class action lawsuit if they don't deliver the multiplayer. I don't know about that. I don't know that it would get taken that far. So, I don't necessarily think it's that bad. And the reason being is because, listen, the worst case scenario for Naughty Dog, all right? The worst case scenario for Naughty Dog is they give up on this multiplayer game, they move on completely, and it's just dead in the water, and they go make a single player game. That I'll say right now, I don't think that's that bad. Truthfully. And I say that as somebody who absolutely wants this multiplayer game. Dominic, you're asking me to read what you're saying. What are you saying, man? Bungie is being sued by its former HR manager. Oh. Yikes. Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all. Yeah, Bungie, I don't know, man. Bungie is that is true. They've never lost a court case, so it could just result in nothing, really. But to me, the worst case scenario is Naughty Dog just basically reverts back to doing what I think most people, or at least a lot of people, want them to do. Now, a lot of people still don't like Naughty Dog after what happened with The Last of Us Part 2. And I understand that, but even then, it's like the worst case scenario is Naughty Dog makes a single player game that you're not interested in. And I won't lie, look, as much as I want The Last of Us multiplayer, and I really want it, if it's causing this much of a problem and it's really messing things up, I would rather Naughty Dog just go back to what you do best. Go make your single player game because, that's what you guys do. And we can just take it from there. I think a lot of people would be okay with that. I just don't like the fact that we're hearing these things kind of like, here's a little leak here, here's a little report there, but it's like, but what is the takeaway message here? What is actually happening? I will tell you this. If this leak we're reading is true, and Sony's plan is to announce this new Naughty Dog single player game before the end of the year, or by the end of the year, if that's truly what happens, that could go a long way. That could change the entire conversation. Whoa, who cares about The Last of Us multiplayer? Did you see that new trailer for that new single player Naughty Dog IP? Maybe. I'm not trying to, put my head in the clouds here. I'm just saying that's what the leak claims. That could change everything. The conversation around Naughty Dog, I think, would just completely shift. I'm not necessarily worried because I feel like I personally already experienced the worst with The Last of Us Part 2, and you guys know that with what they did with that story. But I'm interested in whatever Naughty Dog does next, just for the simple fact that it's been so long. Like we've been hearing so many different reports. Like, what are you guys? What are you cooking? What are you working on? But I appreciate the super chat, Dark Horse. Thank you for that, buddy. We have Tom from Toonami again saying Bungie is a Manchurian candidate. I don't know what that means, man. I got another super chat here from Subtext. Manchurian candidate meaning. A Manchurian candidate is a person, especially a politician, being used as a puppet by an enemy power. The term is commonly used to indicate disloyalty or corruption, whether intentional or unintentional. Oh, damn. Tom's getting dead serious up in here. No, I never did see that. I never did see the movie you're referencing. Maybe I'll have to look into it. You're saying it's a good movie, but a terrible reference. Yeah, I'd have to look into this. Interesting. Subtext with another $10 super chat says, with all of these dead live service games, does anyone really know the secret sauce? Bungie being a live service, Arbiters feels like snake oil. No one has really cracked it, even the lucky ones. As proof, no one figured out live service. Sony just got rid of the guy that created Fortnite's Battle Pass. Wasn't he supposed to know this stuff too? Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. Okay? Here's my assessment. I don't think there is some kind of secret sauce. I don't think there's some kind of code to crack. I don't think Sony, check this out. The reasoning that Sony gave for purchasing Bungie is we lack expertise with live service multiplayer games. So rather than risk making mistakes, we are going to buy a large team that seems to be an expert in live service games. So maybe we can avoid a lot of these roadblocks. The thing that I don't quite agree with here is that the expertise that Sony needs is already pretty much there, which is you need to just know how to make a good game that people like playing. Once you do that, all that comes next is just think about ways you can make people grind for content. That's it. There's your fucking code cracked. There's the secret sauce. It's not a secret sauce. It's painfully obvious. You make a good playing game and then you give people stuff to grind for and you monetize that. That is what a live service game is. Look at Call of Duty. Look at Fortnite. Look at any of these games. That it is that simple. It really is that simple. Now, if you want to get more creative with it, which you can, have some events. Plan events, multiple events a year. And you know what you do in those events? Change up the maps a little bit. Ooh, it's Halloween. Let's make the map spooky. And on top of that, let's get some Halloween-themed cosmetics. And let's make them grind for it. And then we'll have a couple of premium cosmetics over here that you pay $20 for. Boom. I'm a genius. Hire me, Sony. You didn't need to buy Bungie. Just hire me. That's all you have to do. That's literally all you have to do. Ask anybody who plays a live service game, why do you keep playing? Because of the grind. Okay, but doesn't that get boring? Yeah, but the gameplay feels fun. It's really not rocket science. And I think Jim Ryan thinks it is because he doesn't play video games. I think Jim Ryan turned to Bungie thinking these guys know what they're doing. Our teams, they make single player games, but in reality, it's like, dude, it is as simple as make good gameplay, create content consistently. Some you give out for free, some you put in a battle pass, some you lock behind a premium paywall, and deliver that content every quarter or so. And especially make sure you're doing it at certain times of the year when there's holidays and you can capitalize on events. Make sure you're listening to the community, balance things out, change the balance, change the meta every now and again. Release some new maps. Don't get me wrong, it requires development time. Of course, it requires large teams delivering this content. You know, you need teams in place to create this content, but that's what live service games are. That's what they are. Fortnite's gameplay hasn't changed. It's the same game. Call of Duty is the same game. These sports games are the same games. The core doesn't change. The only thing you need to start with is, does it feel good to play? Is it something that keeps people on the hook and wanting to keep doing another round? It is. Okay. Now monetize the fuck out of it. That's it. Just keep creating more content for them to grind for, and they'll keep grinding for it. And if you want to really get creative, look at, dude, did you guys see what Call of Duty just did for their Halloween event? With their battle pass, they partnered with, McFarlane? With Spawn. And you know how many people I saw that are like, yo, I don't give a shit about Call of Duty, but this shit's awesome. Now let me ask you, has Call of Duty changed at all since it came out last year. In November of last year, has it? No, it hasn't. I mean, maybe a little tweaks here and there with some balancing and whatnot, but no, you got most of the same guns. The gameplay, the core gameplay is the same. Maybe some new maps, yeah. But the changes that are there, again, it's just some maps, some new cosmetics, a couple new weapons. But the reason why people are playing Call of Duty right fucking now, Modern Warfare 2, is they are grinding the fuck out of that battle pass to get that spawn skin. And I think they have like a couple of extra premium skins as well. So you can make spawn look even cooler. Because I gotta admit, I even checked it out myself. I'm like, yo, that's actually pretty sick. And boom, they get you. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Okay? It's really not rocket science. It's not. I'm not saying it doesn't require effort. It absolutely does. But I just don't understand, like, why Sony felt like... I mean, just even if you just look at what Call of Duty does, and I'm referencing Call of Duty a lot, I think, because I'm being bombarded with shit from them all over my feed because they have like their event coming. Look at what they're doing with the beta. Like, people are like, well, how are they going to handle the beta and the servers? Look, it's fine. Like, if Sony has server issues, wow, who would have seen that coming? Literally everybody. Everybody knows that Sony's going to have some growing pains because they don't really do multiplayer games. They're going to have to learn a little bit, right? It's going to take a little bit of time. But it's like, just look at what Call of Duty puts out a beta like a literal month before their game launches. Now, I think Sony can't follow that exactly. Sony would have to put their betas out before. But just do that. Just do early access, right? Low risk. Early access, let people try it out. And if there's some glaring issues, believe me, the fucking player base will let Sony know, yo, this shit's broken. Or this has got to be fixed. In fact, a lot of popular live service games have an actual test environment, like almost like a separate version of the game where you can opt in to play that version where you get access to content earlier, but it might be a little bit broken or needs to be tuned and corrected. And they rely on the players to actually play test it basically for them. And the players don't mind because they're like, sweet, I get access to this stuff a little bit early. So Joel Crocs for $5 battle pass. There you go. There you go. You know, it's not. Oh my God, Joel smashed head skin, please. See, you guys are already 3 steps ahead of me. We could construct a successful live service for Sony right now. Just right here, right now. We could give them the template. No, it's not going to go perfect. It's not. But I don't know, man. I just don't understand where this whole notion of... Because I think you bring up a good point here, Subtext, where it's like does anyone really know the secret sauce? I don't think that anybody knows it because it's just this. It's always been in front of our face. It's always been at the heart of why people play video games. They love to grind. They do. And I think if you really want to just get down to it, I think really it's just one day. Uh-oh. Did the stream crash again? God damn it. Are we back yet? Am I back? It's going to be one of those days, man. Now Bungie's throttling me. I was just trying to say that to me, it just seems like one day somebody woke up and was like, what if that thing that people like doing in like RPGs and stuff, like, you know, they like to grind for new gear. What if we just do that for our multiplayer game? We just constantly put out new gear, new stuff for them to grind for. I think that's it. I think that's the secret, man. And I don't mean, look, I'm not trying to downplay the difficulty of actually running a successful live service. I'm not trying to downplay it. I know it's not easy, but I guess I'm just saying that it's like, that's what it is. I don't know. I know that's what it is because I've played some of these games and I've learned enough about them where it's like, I know what the hook is here. Like, I know what that secret sauce is. It's quite obvious. I mean, Call of Duty would sell so well every year because it's like, here's a new campaign, right? Here's a new era, like a new time period, new weapons, new characters, and maybe a new zombies mode. And they did this for a long time, and they're like, we can sell map packs. So like every quarter, every 3 months or so, we can make more money off this game, and then we'll rinse and repeat that. But they learned somewhere along the way. Somebody was hired at Activision. They were like, listen, you could do that, or you could basically just create a long form, just DLC train, basically, that it's really cheap to buy, and you can offer a premium version of it, and you can make 100 tiers and shit. And to a lot of people, I think that maybe sounds bad, where it's like, why does everything need a fucking battle pass? I can't tell you. I can't tell you why everything needs a battle pass, but let me tell you. Apparently, that's just what's required in live service games now. It's the new standard. It used to be loot boxes. Now it's battle passes. And I don't have a problem inherently with battle passes, but I just think that I don't know, man. Maybe Naughty Dog was like, we don't want a battle pass. We're not doing a battle pass. We refuse to do it. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's that they were like, we're not going to go the traditional route. That's the dilemma of being free to play. Yeah, free to play, I think, definitely opens the door for, many different ways to monetize. I think people get concerned sometimes when it's like, okay, buy our game, and now we're going to monetize it, 5 different ways, which is like, okay, that doesn't feel good. Everything needs a battle pass because the game is effing free. No, see, don't shoot the messenger. I don't have a problem with battle passes. I don't. Like, the thing I'll never get over is that, like, in a lot of these games, not all of them, but in a lot of these games, there's like a base set of things you can unlock, right? Like a base set of cosmetics or whatever, or gear or upgrades. And you're saying that wasn't directed towards me. All right, well, that's good to know. And then what happens is beyond that, it's like if you want to continue to have other things to unlock, well, now you got to, maybe buy the battle pass. Your time is not free. I agree. And that's why, just play what you enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people, when they talk about these live service games, especially the ones that might be coming from Sony, I think a lot of people are worried that, like, oh man, like, this is all we're going to get. You're not. It's not. No, you're still going to get plenty of single player games from Sony and other developers. You don't ever have to play these multiplayer games. And, if one of these Sony studios creates a successful multiplayer game, I wouldn't even feel bad about that, because it's like, that's just going to create another revenue stream. So maybe they can continue to reinvest in their studios and their games. And here comes Boss. Boss wants to pay us a visit. Boss is like, I heard you were talking about battle passes. I heard you were talking about multiplayer games. What do you know about battle passes, Boss? Huh? Is there something you want to tell us? Bring back Killzone. A lot of people want Killzone back. Dark Horse, you're saying MW3 will be Xbox's fastest selling first party. Oh, that's so weird to think. That is so strange, but you're right. Assuming the deal closes before, what is Call of Duty release in November? That's so crazy. I'm sure Microsoft will be happy about that. Dude, oh man, I laughed out loud so hard when I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, and they're like, PlayStation tweeted out, take a sneak peek at the PlayStation exclusive Modern Warfare 3 operator. And I'm like, there's no way. I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, there's no way they're actually doing this again, knowing that this month where they're talking about it, Microsoft's going to announce we own this company now. That's so funny. Sony just doesn't care, man. They're like, no, we paid for that marketing right. We want it. Okay? You're damn right we want it. All right? Even if it's the last one we ever get, we want it. I guess a part of me just thought that they'd be like, you know what? Forget it. Just forget it. Forget it, Activision. We don't want your exclusive operator. You betrayed us. Yeah, that's true. A deal's a deal. Figuratively literal, you're saying, what's up, MBG? What does the leak say about the new Naughty Dog game? Plus, it's kind of crazy how well PlayStation Portal is doing. The leak said their new IP is a third-person shooter. It plays similarly to Mass Effect 2, where it has a choice system, companions. The plot is about discovering a solar system that has a giant eye for a star in the galaxy, and about human civilization freaking out that it might do something horrific to them. It says here it's going to be announced this year, PS5 only. So that's what the leak claims. We'll see if it turns out to be true or not. Yeah, guys, the PlayStation Portal's doing well. I was thinking about it more, and I don't know if I am still very unsure about the PlayStation Portal for me personally, because I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I could see a use case occasionally for the Portal. But then I started thinking about it more, and I'm like, but do I really? Like, I almost started to question, do I want to create a use case for it? And a part of me is very interested in seeing how the Portal plays outside of the home, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know though. I don't go out anywhere near enough, like on trips or anything, to justify that. So I still have to think about it. No, don't chew my wires, boss. I have to think about it. But one thing that is for sure is the Portal's selling a lot better than people thought it would. And I actually saw this video the other day. And really quick, before I talk about that video, I have Bhushan Mahesh Gandhi. I hope I said your name correctly. I probably destroyed it. I apologize if I did. Bhushan decides he's going to become a member. He re-ups his membership. He comes back to Greatness Awaits. He brings us up to 83 members on the day.
Thank you.
W's in the chat for Bhushan. Thank you so much for that, man. So let me update that. Yeah, we're getting there, guys. I'll be curious to see. I'll be curious to see if we can hit that third milestone, because I don't know, man. I'm shocked we are where we are right now, which is a nice thing. Thank you, guys. But I saw this video, I think Spawn Wave, put it out. Yeah, he put it out about the PlayStation Portal, basically talking about how it's selling better than expected. And it's doing well. It's selling out in Japan. And I read the top comment, and the top comment was just somebody being like, nah, it's just consumerism. Some people can't help themselves. And I was just like, it just proved to me that when a group of people decide to be negative towards a product, you can't change that narrative. You know? Like, if a product is announced and a lot of people say, oh, that's going to fail, and then it doesn't fail and it does well, then those people basically move the goalpost and say, no, these people just can't help themselves. It's like, or maybe it just was a good product that people want. Like, you know, like why can't that be a possibility? Like, no, that cannot be a possibility. No one wants this shit. Okay? You hear me? No one. but it's selling out over here. It's doing well. Yeah, well, you know what? There's something wrong with those people. It's like, well, okay, man. I don't know. I just don't get the hate against the Portal. I really don't, dude. I really don't get the hate against it. Like, it's just an accessory. Who cares? Who cares? Don't buy it if you don't want it. Let people live, man. Let people live. AZN Panda says he got his Portal pre-ordered and he's hyped. Yeah, enjoy it, man. Live. Live. They're buying it just to spend $200. Of course. Nemesis says he can't wait to get his. He uses remote play a lot. Yeah, I mean, it seems to me like Sony made the right bet here, regardless of what people are saying about it, because Sony made it assuming or believing, you have to imagine they had some data, that this thing's going to sell. It's going to make us some money. People are going to buy it. And it seems like that's exactly what's happening. I'm still up in the air about it because I don't want to buy it. I don't want to buy it just for the sake of buying it. I only want to buy it if I actually feel like I'm going to have a good use for it. I think most people should do that. I don't think there's any... I did think at one point, I thought about buying it just to like kind of collect it and have it, but then I was like, I don't know that I want to do that, because it's just... at some point, I'm going to question, wait, why did I buy this thing again? So I'll have to think about it. If I buy it, it's because I'm actually going to have some use cases for it. If I don't, then, again, it's just I made the decision that I don't see myself using it. I don't have a reason to use this device. So there you go. Yeah, maybe on the toilet, bring the Portal with me. I might, I don't know. I have to think about it. I really have to think about it. I'm so used to playing like my PS5, on my TV, sitting in my chair, being comfortable, and I'd have to really think about if there's ever really a time where I'm not, like, that's not an option for me. You tweet PlayStation to get a Portal signed by Jim Ryan. I would take that, yeah. I got a PlayStation Portal signed by Jim Ryan. I'm cool. Alfonso Carter, member for 4 months, says, as long as I can still get games like Spider-Man and Wolverine, I'm good. Yeah, dude. I mean, look, that's the thing. These games they're not going anywhere. It's so weird to me how, and I know I'm part of this. Like, I understand that I'm kind of part of the doom and gloom squad sometimes, but I still do feel like things are looking pretty damn good for PlayStation. Putting the hate, like, look, there's a lot of haters out there. I think there's a lot of people who just want to hate on PlayStation, and I get it, but I don't know. I'm still feeling like it's looking pretty damn good. I have some concerns, certainly, and I would like to know more, but generally speaking, I feel like we're eating good, man. I mean, we're 15 days. I just realized we're 15 days away. 15 days till Spider-Man 2. Good shit. Good shit, man. Yeah, I'm going to be going nuts over Wolverine. I'm going to be going nuts over Wolverine. I can't wait. I really can't wait to see more Wolverine. All right, let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. So there is one other portion of this leak, by the way, that I forgot to read. Or two other portions. So they have here with this leak, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. It's coming next year. It's also coming to PC around 6 months later. And then it says it's mostly going to be graphical improvements over the original. No story DLC. And it says it's going to retail for $70. And the PS4 version upgrade will be $10. So it basically just sounds like it's going to be a director's cut. Boss is really in my way. That's what they say on part 2. Now, they say The Last of Us Part 3 is in pre-production and saying it's probably not going to release until the PlayStation 6. And that's the entirety of the leak. That's the entirety of the leak. Domingo813 says, waiting for the next iteration of the Soulja Boy console. I know, man. I think everybody's waiting for that. Sony better be paying attention. They don't want to be caught off guard. Dude, I saw the funniest article from it's one of these satire sites. They wrote an article about the PlayStation 5 like double stuff version or something. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, this is actually pretty funny. Tell me I'm not going to be able to find it. I forget the name of the website. Maybe not. What was it? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I came across this satirical article yesterday, and it was like making fun of the PS5, where it's like Sony announced I don't know if they called it a double stuffed PS5 or something. It was like supposed to be an even bigger PS5 with like double the like 2 SSDs in it or something. And I don't even remember the name of the website. I would like to read it to you guys because it was pretty funny. Shit. They're saying it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't. It would have been a good read. I want to see if I can find it real quick. I can't find it. I don't know the name. Whatever. God, I should have bookmarked it, man. I came across it on Twitter. I should have bookmarked it. Shit was funny. I was reading the article to my wife. I was like, yo, check this out. It was so stupid. It was so stupid. Yeah, I don't think I could find it since it just came across it on Twitter. The new PlayStation exclusive lockpick operator pack revealed. I'm looking at it. I'm watching the video. Oh man, the lockpick operator, PlayStation exclusive. Actually kind of looks somewhat badass, I guess. I think it's like a female operator. She's got like this cool mask. Obviously her camouflage is blue. Got to make sure it's blue. So weird. So freaking weird. All right. Have you guys seen this video of an AI called Face Morph? And they've been taking these like famous video games and using Face Morph on them and making it seem like the AI is making their faces look better. And I'm watching this video and it's like, no. I don't know what they're smoking, but it looks so weird. It looks so fucking weird, dude. It's like uncanny. But I just find it funny when we see stuff like that because they're like, look, AI, it's going to make video game faces look better than people can. And it's like, I don't know that we're quite there yet. Yeah. All right. So that is pretty much it for the Naughty Dog leak. Just to recap before I move on here, because I only have a few more topics left. This might actually end up being a somewhat shorter stream today. We'll see where it goes. But to recap, new Naughty Dog IP, plays similarly to Mass Effect 2. Plot is about discovery of a solar system that has a giant eye in it, and humans freak out. It's going to be choice system, companions, PS5 only. Factions is having development issues. This leak says it might come next year. Plays like The Last of Us Part 2. Will have huge maps, personal survivor camp mechanic. Says here, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered coming out next year, as well as PC 6 months later. Mostly graphical improvements. No story DLC. Will be $70, $10 upgrade. And then Last of Us Part 3 is in pre-production now and is probably not going to be released until the PlayStation 6. So, again, this leak does not have a verifiable source, so certainly take it with a healthy pinch of salt. All right, we are going to move on to the next topic now, and this is about PlayStation Studios getting some serious upgrades here. Now, I did, again, cover this in my video yesterday, but in case you missed it, I'll go over it once again, but I want to talk a little bit more deeply about it. So, it says here from PlayStation Lifestyle, PlayStation Studio Housemarque has announced that it will move its operations and employees into one of Nordic's most advanced gaming headquarters by the end of 2024. The new facility will be located in downtown Helsinki in Housemarque's home country, Finland. Founded 28 years ago, Housemarque made a number of critically acclaimed games before being acquired by Sony Interactive Entertainment in 2021. The studio has now been bulking up for its next PS5 game, and it's been confirmed that their new PS5 game is going to be a new IP. So, again, I think this is important to highlight because I know that a lot of people loved Returnal. I loved Returnal. There's, again, a lot of negativity circulating around PlayStation and has been for the past year or so. But this is a very important thing to point out where one of their best studios, I think they're one of their best studios, Housemarque, is creating a new AAA IP. It's not going to be Returnal 2. It's going to be something brand new. But on top of that, they're getting some serious upgrades here, man. Like this, you see, this right here is the direct result of them being part of the PlayStation Studios family and officially being a Sony first-party studio. In a press release, Housemarque said that its new HQ will be a beacon of innovation and creativity in the northernmost capital. Our vision is more than just a shiny new office. It's about setting a new standard with features like cutting-edge meeting rooms, proper audio studios, testing areas, and wellness spaces. We are creating an environment that merges Nordic sensibilities with creativity, aiming to attract the world's best game developers. So, yeah, they said that they're going to update us with more information next year, but this is awesome news. This is something we've been seeing with the studios that Sony has, where we saw recently that Firesprite got a major studio upgrade. Firesprite actually just recently got a new cutting edge studio, and it's interesting to think that they are one of Sony's, when it comes to Sony Studios, one of their biggest studios and working on multiple projects. Now we're hearing that Housemarque, I think this is well earned, right? I mean, there's no doubt this is what we're talking about, okay? This is what I'm talking about when we talk about organic growth. I know that people always, for some reason, make fun of that term, but in this case, when we're looking at Housemarque, this is as close to organic growth as you're going to get. Yeah, Media Molecule got a big upgrade as well, but this is the closest thing you're going to get to, organic growth, where you have a studio like Housemarque that's been around for a long time, and Sony has been partnered with them for a long time, funding many of their games. And then the day comes where Sony says, we're going to fund your first AAA game. Let's see what you got. Housemarque knocks it out of the park. They end up acquiring them as a first-party studio. And now, within a couple years later, the team is growing. They're working on a new IP. And now Sony is clearly giving them the funding and the opportunity to upgrade your studio. Upgrade your studio, man. Big time. I really do wonder what Housemarque's working on. because Returnal was so good. You would think that, oh yeah, they're gonna do a sequel. Oh my god, dude, that's the thing about my cats. Sorry if I'm making a bunch of noise on the mic. That's the thing about my cats sitting on my lap during my stream, man. They get their cat hair. It gets stuck all over the mic. It gets all in my nose. It's making me go crazy here, man. Anyway, guys, Returnal, Housemarque. You would think that they would make a sequel because it was so successful. At least I think it was successful. I don't know if it sold really well, but saying Naughty Dog is a more organic studio. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know that, or maybe organic is not the term I'm looking for, because I get it. Like, it's not organic. They acquired Housemarque. I guess I'm just saying Housemarque, to me, is a diamond in the rough, or they were a diamond in the rough, right? Like, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about Sony doing what they do best. We have a studio that has been around for a long time. They've been making slow but sure progress in those years. Sony's been working with them directly. And then when Sony, gives them the opportunity to make a AAA game and they deliver a great AAA game, something that was very impressive, it leads them to a point where it's like, you know what? Do you want to join our family of studios? And in doing so, this is one of the major benefits. Is now they can grow Housemarque. And I'm telling you, this is the beginning of Housemarque becoming a powerhouse studio. Okay? This is the beginning of Housemarque becoming possibly, the next Sucker Punch or something like that. It's going to take some time. Of course, it always does. But it's just a situation where you love to see it, man. You love to see these studios that Sony purchased just spread their wings and hopefully reach their full potential, because I don't think Housemarque has reached its full potential. No way. I think they reached a new level with Returnal. I think Returnal's a fantastic game, but I think that they can go further. I do. I think that they have yet to create their best game, and I think that this is going to help them reach that potential. So, good stuff, man. Saying build studios to organic growth. I mean, yeah, I would love to see Sony build a new studio or two. I don't know if they're going to, but that would be great. That would be a great thing to see. And let me see here. I have one other topic here. This is about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So, this is being reported by WCCF Tech. They say Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be a much more open experience than its predecessor, and it seems like fan feedback was among the reasons behind this. Speaking with Saudi Gamer, director Naoki Hamaguchi commented on the lessons the development team learned from making Remake, highlighting how fans loved the story, but did not like how following the story took away player agency. Being aware of this, the team decided to provide freedom of choice in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, letting players choose what order to tackle things while giving them plenty of side content. Speaking about the game's map, the game's director also confirmed that by the end of the game, players will be able to return to every location thanks to the seamlessly joined world. In the same interview, the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director also commented on additional costumes. Unlike Remake, where the costumes could only be seen during certain sequences, it seems like they'll be able to, they'll be available for the entire playthrough, but only after experiencing the campaign, suggesting that different costumes can be picked for either the post-game or some sort of New Game Plus mode. And so, yeah, what do you guys think about this? The open-ended approach that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to offer is actually directly from fan feedback. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm intrigued, and I'm going to be interested to see how I feel playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth versus how I felt playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, because one of the things I really thoroughly enjoyed about Remake was its linearity. I feel like these days we don't get enough AAA linear games. I think that a lot of development teams always feel pressured to either go open world or wide linear, which wide linear is fine too, but I do just think that, you know, it's going to be interesting for me personally to see if I end up enjoying playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in this kind of more open way. Am I going to end up feeling like, man, I kind of like Remake better because it's just linear? Or is it going to be handled in a way that makes me feel like, wow, this actually is a natural progression and it feels even better than Remake did? I'm kind of fascinated by this because I don't know what the fan feedback was. I mean, for me, I really did enjoy it. The only thing I didn't enjoy about Remake was the map design, like in the way you had to navigate it, because it kind of felt like it turned into a maze at some point. So maybe, I don't know, maybe this will make that easier to deal with. William, you're saying MBG Final Fantasy Remake 2 will just be like the original, where it's open world, but the story is still kind of linear. Rebirth is going to be way better than Remake. Yeah, I guess just my lack of experience in playing the first game, or not the first, but the original. Maybe that's what I'm not fully understanding, because you're saying that in the original it actually does. It is pretty much like open world in a way. Just, I don't know why that's surprising to me. Portal saying open world any day. MD says, I just want to be able to jump. Please, God, just let me jump. Yeah, Rebirth is going to be huge, man. I'm excited for it. It's going to be absolutely huge. All right, let me see here. Did any more video game news come out? Oh, I forgot to mention this. Check this out. We got Silent Hill Ascension appears on the Google Play Store, confirmed for October 31st. That's when the first episode is airing. How do you guys feel about Silent Hill Ascension? I don't know that I care too much about this Silent Hill title. It's not really, I mean, it's interesting. I think it's kind of like an interactive thing where people stream it and they make decisions together. Maybe it could be interesting, but it makes me think that we could be getting more updates on Silent Hill this month. We're getting at least one update on Ascension. I really want to see what's going on with Silent Hill 2 Remake. I feel like it's been too long, frankly. Oh. We have some bad news, guys. We have an update on the Sony hack, and it doesn't sound good. So, this was... Why am I so late to this? This was posted 2 hours ago. Fuck. Okay, so IGN posts, Sony confirms that a data breach has impacted nearly 7,000 current and former employees. So, no customer data. This hack directly impacts their employees, current and former. Now, I'm trying to click on the link to get more details, but it says 403 forbidden. It's not letting me. Let me see if I can look this up. That fucking sucks, dude. Sony confirms data breach impacting thousands in the US. All right, let's read. This is from Eurogamer. Sony Interactive Entertainment has confirmed the personal information of 6,791 former and current employees was exposed as part of a cyber attack in June. The data breach was carried out by the Clop ransomware group Bleeping Computer reports. Sony is now contacting anyone affected and is offering credit monitoring and identity restoration services. Oh, Jesus. In correspondence notifying affected individuals of the breach, Sony said it is not aware of publication or misuse of the personal details exposed during the hack. The sensitive information was accessible through a now fixed vulnerability in Sony's Move It file transfer platform, enabling an unauthorized actor to download the files containing personal information. Move It developer Progress Software flagged the vulnerability 3 days after the attack on May 31st. Sony discovered the authorized downloads on June 2nd and immediately took the platform offline. The company launched an investigation with external cybersecurity experts and notified law enforcement. 6,791 people have been affected, as recorded by the Office of Maine Attorney General. This is the record. This is the second data breach that's come to light for Sony recently. Last month, a different ransomware group claimed it had hacked all of Sony's systems and was selling the data following the company's refusal to pay. At the time, Sony did not respond to Eurogamer's request for comment, but told other publications it was currently investigating. So, wow, okay, this is actually not, this is separate from the leak that or the hack that we heard about. God damn. This was actually something that happened back in like a couple months ago, and we're now learning about it. That just straight up sucks. Sony's got to figure something out, man. They got to figure something out with their security. I mean, if you're a current or former Sony employee, you really got to be feeling pretty shitty right now. I imagine this is going to lead to a lawsuit. Yeah, it's sad, man. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if there's any more to this. Okay, so there's clearly a lot of confusion circulating around this. Almost everybody is not reading the article or reading the write-ups. Shocker. A lot of people are thinking that, and I thought this myself until I read the article, people are not aware that this has nothing to do with the recent announcement of a hack that Sony's currently investigating. This was actually something that happened earlier this year and is separate. And so everybody right now is understandably, but I guess this is why it is important to read the articles, and not just go with the headlines. Everybody's assuming that this is, so it does make you wonder, like, if this recent hack was bogus or not, if it was nonsense. Could have been. So there's that update. That came very unexpectedly. I feel like I'm late to this because it's like this was reported like 2 or 3 hours ago, and I just find it strange that I'm just now coming across it. Let me see. Let me go to Push Square, see what they're saying. I read earlier that the other hack we heard about last week only gained access to an internal testing server and nothing else. No customer, employee, or partner data was affected. Seemed like those hackers probably knew that they didn't have much, so they were trying to start a panic for the exposure. Apparently, this hack that we're talking about now was done through a weakness in the servers that was patched about 3 days later. This occurred a few months ago. That sounds like a nightmare for Sony and their employees. That sucks. Straight up. Well, there you go. MBG's costume. Yeah, dude, MBG's costume. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm not gonna add you on PSN, dude. Like I feel like you're keeping it going at this point because it's like it's your thing. It's what you're known for. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But you just got to know I'm not going to add you on PSN. It's nothing personal. I've told you this. MBG's costume knows this. He knows this. He knows it's not personal. But if you want to keep that streak going, man, you keep it going. I won't stop you. I won't stop you, man. He said it's fine. Just add him, MBG. No, you can't do that, okay? Because then it sends a message that if you hit a streak, I'm striving one dragging step at a time. It's so weird every time I see the picture too, the profile picture, because it's the picture of when I cosplayed a snake. Oh man. Add him and then remove him later. No, I wouldn't want to do that. That's just messed up. No, I just draw the line in the sand, you know, like, look, man, no one's going to get special treatment in that area. I think that's fair. What leaked? So we did talk all about it, I guess, because we're kind of at the end here in terms of topics. There was it's a 4chan leak, so take it with a massive grain of salt, but apparently Naughty Dog is working on a new IP. It's going to be like a kind of sci-fi IP where like they discover a new solar system and there's a giant eye or some shit and they think it's like going to lead to bad things and there's going to be like choices and I don't know. And The Last of Us multiplayer is, you know, not going well. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered coming next year. And Last of Us Part 3 is in early pre-production. So, yeah. Unless you're talking about the hack, which we just talked about. Basically, Starfield. No, it doesn't sound like Starfield at all. It sounds like the person was saying it sounds very similar to Mass Effect or something. So, I mean, there were a lot of people thinking that Naughty Dog was, if they were working on a new IP, they were working on like something medieval, something based around that time. So nothing we didn't know. I mean, yeah, kind of. It's the only leak that's out there right now, man. So I figured, you know, we'll talk about it. New PS5 games, bro. It's coming. Was there? You're saying there was a rumor of a Naughty Dog space game that's been around for a while. Are you sure? I mean, I only remember hearing something about like a high fantasy game. If they would just announce it. If they could just announce their new game, we wouldn't have to sit here reading these goddamn 4chan leaks. Yeah, Santa Monica Studio working on some kind of sci-fi game. Lore Cannon, you're the second person who brought this up. There's rumors that Sony's buying the movies of they're buying the IP rights. Let me look this up because I didn't see anything on this. Where are you guys hearing this from? Because I'm not seeing it anywhere. Oh, so here we go. No, that's old. That's old. These are all old. I'm not seeing anything. I don't know where this is being sourced from. On X? Well, I mean, do you know like the actual source? Like who's reporting on it? Because I was on Twitter or X or whatever, and I didn't see anything like this floating around. Sorry, I'm just doing a little bit of reading here really quick. I'm not seeing anything. I have no idea. Sorry, guys. Alex Smith. I don't know who that is. Saying, dang, MBG, cheer up. Do I seem sad? Shems, do I seem sad? Not sad. My eyelids feel heavy though, man. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know why I feel so tired. I think it's because I'm eating like shit lately. I feel like my diet's really went off a cliff lately. And I think it's like affecting how I feel during the day. I think it's making me very sluggish, kind of lethargic. I'm trying to clean my diet up today, though. Today's been pretty good. It's the 30s kicking in, dude. I know as soon as I turn 30. No, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. It was all the birthday cake, dude. Too much birthday cake. Diet full of coffee. 2.5 cups a day, which I don't think is that bad. 8-ounce cups, like actual eight fluid ounces, not like when I say, oh, I have 2 cups, I don't like the cups are not 16 ounces each. You're saying this guy also said that Sony's buying CD Projekt Red like last week. Yeah, look, that's why it's easy to just kind of go with these random 4chan leaks sometimes because it's totally up in the air. Like no one's trying to take credit. It's just maybe this is somebody wasting their time making something up. Maybe they're actually revealing something interesting. But it's totally anonymous. And I actually, believe it or not, I'm more inclined to sometimes believe the anonymous leaks than I am certain people trying to claim stuff because, everybody's out there. They're clout chasing. Laura Cannon says, time for Costco shopping. No, I didn't see that, Tactical Gamer. You're saying Cyberpunk sold over 25 million copies? That's very impressive. That's good. That's a massive number, dude. So, good for them. CD Projekt Red is not for sale. I don't think CD Projekt Red is ever going to get acquired. I don't. I think they are totally happy being independent. They probably have gotten offers. I have no doubt about that. Kind of reminds me of Kojima Productions a little bit. I remember when Hideo Kojima, he acknowledged, I think it was on one of his podcast episodes, that he gets offers all the time, but he just doesn't want to sell. He wants to be independent. And I can respect that. I think that's good, I mean, if you think about it, Kojima Productions being independent is what's allowing him to do all these different things. He can make a game for PlayStation. He can make a game for Xbox. He can start doing stuff with movies and who knows whatever else he's doing. So CD Projekt Red staying independent, I think, is a good thing. I do. Remedy being independent, great as well. Kojima Ryan Productions. Oh, that's cursed, Hanzo. Just looking at that, it just looks cursed. Jack, you're saying Jim Ryan is retiring in about 6 months. We won't be able to close the deal. He won't be able to close the deal. Maybe the new CEO could be making a purchase, but I think Jim is done making acquisitions. Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to acquisitions, I really am not sure what Sony plans on doing. Like, they did set money aside. Sony, I think, set $8 billion aside for potential acquisition. I don't think they're done acquiring. I don't. But as for like who they would acquire, I wish I had some kind of insight. I have no idea. I have no idea. Yeah, they could go for Arrowhead. I think it depends on if Helldivers 2 is a success or not. It's also worth noting that, dude, Arrowhead's production has been a little bit concerning. Arrowhead, their last game was Helldivers 1 in like 2015 or something like that. So it's been a long time that they've been working on this game, which I think looks good. But you do have to question, like, why did it take so long? Do I want Sony to acquire Remedy? I don't want them to acquire Remedy, no. I think Remedy is best being independent. But at the same time, if Sony were to go on some kind of acquisition spree again and look to acquire somebody, that would be a great fit, I think. Yeah, I think Remedy would be a great fit for Sony, but I'm not necessarily rooting for Sony to go out there and just buy studios. And the reason for that is because I think that they have a good amount of studios. I mean, Sony has what, like 20 studios or something like that? Maybe my number's off. But they have a lot. They have a lot. Ember Lab would be a good one. I think Ember Lab would actually be a perfect fit. Just because, they've only made one game. They made that game with Sony, and they're very good at what they do. And the game that they made, I think, offers good diversity. It's not like a photorealistic AAA game. It's more like a very solid AA game with a unique art style. Or Slow Clap, yeah. Slow Clap with Sifu. Yeah, I don't know, man. There are a lot of different ways Sony could go about it. New CEO, new vision. I think we will start hearing about acquisitions after they name the next CEO. It's certainly possible. That's the thing. When we talk about Sony or PlayStation getting a new CEO in the next 6 months, you have to assume there will be a new vision. And that, to me, is going to be the most interesting thing we learn about. It could be the same vision as Jim Ryan, with just some slight tweaks here and there. But I think there's a decent chance it'll be a completely different vision. And it could be worse. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Manalis Laladakis, you're saying the next acquisition from Sony will tell us what they're up to, I hope. So thank you for the super chat, man. I don't know anymore. I have spent so much time, as you guys know, on these streams speculating what Sony could be doing, when they're going to let us know what they're doing, and I've kind of just gotten to a point where I've accepted that for the next, I don't want to say the next 6 months, because that's pretty extreme, but at least for the remainder of this year, I just have kind of accepted that we're going to learn about Sony's plans likely through reports and leaks here and there. I just don't imagine we're going to learn too much by now directly from Sony, because they're focused on Spider-Man 2. You know, they show no signs of doing like a second showcase until next year sometime. They clearly have their hands full right now with a hack that they have to deal with, or a breach for their employees, I mean. I think right now, Sony's main focus, if I had to guess, is on clearing the way for Spider-Man 2 as much as they can. And even recently, one of the Kotaku reports said that with Naughty Dog and them letting go their QA testers, they told them they want them to keep it quiet, right? Like we want you to keep it quiet, don't talk about it. And I think it's obvious that Sony just really wants to try to mitigate any bad news ahead of Spider-Man 2's launch. Even though this stuff doesn't impact Spider-Man 2, it's just I think they want the focus to be on Spider-Man 2. And you can't blame them. You can't blame them. Saying PC ports are fine, just keep making first-party games. Yeah, I don't have any problem with PC ports. I'm interested to know, like, how many of these games are going to be day and date PC or day one PC releases. I'm interested to know how many of them are going to be day one. I think with Sony single player games, they're not going to be day one. At least that's what I think. If they are going to do day one releases for single player games, that would definitely be a shift. And that's why I'm saying when we talk about a new CEO vision or a new CEO coming in with a new vision, that could be part of their vision. Dude, we might get somebody in there that's just like Phil Spencer. Boss, hey, no, come on. He's always trying to bite my wires. We could get somebody as a new CEO that takes Jim Ryan's stuff a step further. Hopefully not. At least not with everything, because I just don't think these things need to be rushed. That's my whole thing with them, right? Like I think what they're doing now is a good. Sorry, my cats are starting to act up. I think what they're doing now is a good hybrid, where it's like, okay, we have our single player games. We released them exclusively on the PS5 for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, maybe sometimes 3 years. And then eventually we'll bring in the PC. And I think that kind of makes everybody happy, right? Where it's like the people who are buying into the console, they feel kind of special because it's like, well, okay, I'm getting these games, on this console. They're not going to be anywhere else, so I can enjoy that aspect. And then people who want to play them on PC, it's like, well, if you're willing to wait a little while, you can get that PC release, all the bells and whistles, everything else. I don't know what Boss is doing back there. He's doing something he shouldn't be doing. He's licking the wall. Okay. What a strange cat he is sometimes. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what we get next after Jim Ryan. He's prepping his Nikita missile. That's funny, dude. He's pooping on my bed. No, he's not doing that, luckily. He keeps coming over here, though. Hey, stop. Dude, he keeps just like sneaking under my chair and biting my wires, man. And he like tries to get it in there real quick. It's like a hit and run. He's doing like he's hit and runs. I don't trust him, man. He's sneaky. Boss makes me laugh though, man. He's a funny cat. Sorry, guys. I'm just checking this out real quick. Seeing if... Nope. All right. We're good. I need cable wire management. Get some covers for them. I probably should do that. That would probably be a good investment. We need a celebrity spokesperson. Like the PS3 days. That would be I don't know that Sony would do that. Maybe Hiroki Totoki will care about backwards compatibility. I don't know what Hiroki Totoki will be like as interim CEO. He could end up becoming the CEO if he does a good enough job. I really wonder what... So Hiroki Totoki is described as being obsessed with growth. I don't like that. I don't like that. That concerns me. This obsession with growth. I mean, I get maybe that's good for the bottom line. It's good for the shareholders, but I don't know that that's necessarily the best thing. I want a PlayStation CEO that comes in and says, I'm obsessed with quality. And if our obsession with high quality can lead to sustainable growth, then that's what we'll do. You're saying you doubt Totoki will make significant changes? I doubt it. He'll probably just follow. I think Hiroki Totoki is likely to just follow what Jim Ryan's lead. And if we're going to get somebody with a new vision, like that changes things up in a new vision, that's probably going to come after Totoki's time. Obsessed with innovation and gameplay. That would be a good one. Higher quality, meaning more time on the projects. Are you sure we are ready for even longer development times? Well, I guess, it depends. I mean, for me, quality can mean many different things. I mean, you talk about like innovation in gameplay. Just make fun games. Maybe that's what we need. We need a PlayStation CEO that says, I'm obsessed with making great games, just fun games, enjoyable games, delightful games. I can get behind that. Who couldn't? William, you're saying, I know a lot about Hiroki. Jim Ryan cared mostly about organic growth, growing studio sizes, and buying studios that are in close relationships. Hiroki is all about inorganic growth and expansion. Uh-oh. Damn, William Aguilar coming in, dropping some knowledge about Hiroki Totoki. He's been studying him. This man will usher in a new age of acquisitions. Dude, you might be right. You're saying, MBG, let me put it this way. Jim Ryan would never consider buying EA games to compete in equal parity to ABK. Hiroki will. That would be quite the shocker. Yeah, that is true. He is the CFO, and he is the one who allocated like $8 billion towards acquisitions. Damn, I didn't think about this. Yeah, Hiroki Totoki could be... He could be like the Phil Spencer, It's like, let's go get it. We're going to go buy a massive publisher. I don't know that I would be too excited about that, man. I'd be very concerned. I'd be like, revenge. Hiroki Totoki's like, it's time to get our revenge. It would make for a great story. Some great reactionary content. It certainly would. Yo, straight up though, I would not at all be excited if at least at first, I would not at all be excited if Sony acquired EA. I would just be like, no. Like, honestly, I would just be like, why? Like, why the fuck do you need EA, man? Like, we don't need those sports games. We don't need... I mean, it would be... Respawn would be a great get. Of course, they'd get Apex Legends and stuff, but it's just like... I just wouldn't be excited about that kind of acquisition because it's just a money acquisition. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, we're going to double our profit or our revenue and remain a dominant player in revenue. And it's like, I don't know about that, man. Williams saying Hiroki sees Microsoft buying ABK as a literal existential threat. He is very clear that he will not allow Sony to lose the consolidation war. Dude, I feel like Williams having some phone calls. He's having some chats with Hiroki Totoki. Dude, if that's true though, like if that's really how he views it, oh shit. Yeah. Shit's about to get crazy under Hiroki Totoki. We got to give him a new nickname. Or we got to give him a nickname. I don't know. I'll let you guys think of it. It has to be something good. Something that aligns with money or spending. I've been in all... Oh, wow. You're saying... So, yeah, you have been. You're saying, MBG, I've been in all of Hiroki's investor calls. He makes this very clear. He will buy a publisher. The only question is who. Really? Damn. I was kind of joking, William, but no, you have been on these calls. You're really listening in. Damn. That's very interesting to me. That's fascinating because well, if Hiroki Totoki, if that's the name of his game, well, I guess we got to embrace consolidation, guys. You know what? Here's the truth, though. Here's the truth. As much as I'm not excited about consolidation and really don't enjoy it, I can't blame Hiroki Totoki here. Like, I can't blame Sony. If he takes over as the interim CEO and is like, my first order of business, we're getting a fucking publisher, and we're getting a big one. We're making it happen. How could I blame him? It's like, yeah, I look at your fucking competitor. They just got 2. You know, like I wouldn't really be that excited for it because it's like, well, I mean, it sucks. It's got to go this way because I feel like this shouldn't necessarily be the focus, but at the same time, yeah, look at what's happening. I couldn't blame Sony at all. Who could blame them? Don't you do it, boss. I know you want to chew my lights. Don't do it. We're converting from Ryanthology to Totokism. Oh my God, dude. Gaming Survivor. I don't know. I swear, Gaming Survivor, he just waits with this stuff. He's like, now's the perfect time. I've been waiting to deliver this. Totokism. Dude, you need to stop chewing my cords. I'm sorry, boss, but you have to stop. Totokism, dude, that shit is funny. Kendall Fire, I'm sorry, man, I missed your super chat. You're saying Totoki is already the CFO of all of Sony. Becoming CEO of just PlayStation would be a demotion. It won't be him. He will just be interim. Yeah, you are right. Maybe he'll just be both. Maybe he'll just be a straight up Chad and just be like, yeah, I'll be the CFO, the president, and the CEO of PlayStation because I can do it all. Hiroki Totoki can do it all. Double the salary, baby. I mean, yeah, you got to imagine that man's getting paid pretty good to take on all that. That's a big undertaking. Seriously. Saying Microsoft didn't just get 2 publishers. In reality, Microsoft got 3 or 4 if you want to count King, ZeniMax, Activision, and Blizzard. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you're talking about acquiring publishers that acquired other publishers. Yeah. we'll see. We'll see what happens. I guess I didn't really think about that too much, right? Like when we talk about Sony getting a new CEO, I didn't really think about the acquisition aspect. I guess I just figured that Sony will just continue pursuing acquisitions as they have been. And there won't be any major changes. They'll be kind of slow and steady, spread out a little bit. But hearing what William's saying about Hiroki Totoki, he's been listening in on the calls and whatnot. Yeah, we could see him get really aggressive. Hiroki Totoki is going to get his revenge. That's what's going to happen. It's like Hiroki Totoki's CEO for 1 month under Sony, and in that month he announces like a major acquisition of like a big publisher. And then after that, they announced the new CEO. And they're like, go ahead. That'll be his legacy as PlayStation CEO for exactly 4 weeks. Yeah, the next year and a half for, I mean, it's not just for PlayStation. It's definitely for the gaming industry in general, but PlayStation is going to be a big part of that. The next year and a half for PlayStation is going to be fascinating. I mean, truly fascinating to watch. Because there's so much we can expect, and there's so much we don't know, and so much that could come unexpectedly. It's kind of exciting to think about. And Williams says, MBG, in order to expand our growth over the longer term, this is in quotes, I think this is a Hiroki Totoki quote. He says, in order to expand our growth over the longer term, we will need the ability to invest at a completely new level. Consolidation has been happening, and Sony doesn't want to be left behind. Damn. That is a powerful quote. So that's the man who's going to be the interim CEO. Interesting stuff, dude. That's very... I'm glad you brought my attention to this, William, because I always knew that Hiroki Totoki like focused more on acquisitions, but I kind of thought it was just because he's the CFO and he just kind of had to an extent. But the information you're bringing to the table, it really almost starts to kind of reveal that, yeah, this guy he's all for consolidation. And that, to me, the key part of this quote here, though, I mean, it's a loaded quote. In order to expand our growth over the long term, we will need the ability to invest at a completely new level. At a completely new level. Consolidation's been happening. Sony doesn't want to be left behind. To me, that's the most revealing quote. Sony doesn't want to be left behind. So clearly, Hiroki Totoki feels that as more publishers get purchased, they're getting left behind if they can't get one of their own. Dude, the day Sony announces they've acquired a major publisher, oh man. The internet that day is not going to be well. Not going to be well at all. I agree. It is a threat, yeah. He isn't for consolidation. He didn't want the war, but the war is at his door, and he sees it as an existential threat. Well, I agree. That's why I'm saying, if you see your main competitor making moves like this, right, where it's like, okay, Bethesda, we could survive that. Not that big of a deal. Oh, Bethesda and Activision Blizzard, and they're not going to stop? Oh, well, fuck. Yeah, I mean, what would you do? I mean, really, I mean, I'm asking that seriously. Like, if you're in charge of running this business and you have to make sure you don't shrink and you are relevant as a market leader, and you see Microsoft making moves like this, I mean, really, what would you do? That's why I'm saying no matter what, if Sony does acquire a publisher, I'd really have to evaluate that. But one thing I can say for certain is if Sony acquires like Konami or Square or Ubisoft, because a lot of people keep asking if Sony's going to acquire Ubisoft. Maybe they will. I don't know. Fuck, man. Wouldn't that be the funniest thing ever? I feel like every week I get asked, like, do you think Sony's going to acquire Ubisoft? The day is going to come where it's like, yes, Sony has acquired Ubisoft, okay? They did it. You can stop asking. They acquired them. If that day comes, it's like, regardless of any feeling I feel initially, I imagine the first feeling is, well, saw that one coming. Can't say I'm surprised. But yeah, the internet, the day that if Sony does acquire a publisher and that day does come, I mean, it's going to be a nightmare with the conversations that people are having on the internet. I mean, you're going to see certain groups of people celebrating like, they did it. They did it. They won. Like revenge. You're going to see other groups of people being like, Sony is so fucking toxic. I can't believe they acquired a publisher. How dare they? Meanwhile, they're probably cheering on Activision Blizzard. You know what, though? I'll tell you right now, this will be the conversation. You ready? Do you know why it sucks when Sony buys a publisher, but not when Microsoft does? Because when Microsoft buys a publisher, we get games in Game Pass. When Sony buys a publisher, we still got to pay full price for games, except some of them might be exclusive now. That's Totokism, baby. That's Totokism. I mean, it would be a fair point. Yeah, I could get behind that. Someone just clipped that. Someone just clipped that. Clip that shit. But I mean, it's true, though. But you can't... That would be a difficult thing to argue, though. Right? Sony fanboy admits PlayStation is greedy. Yeah. Dude, that's so fun. Guys, I just woke up today and I learned something. I can't believe it. Sony's greedy. They're greedy, man. I can't believe it. Why? Dude, I feel like so I put out a short yesterday and I'm like, Devil Shooter's producing some of these clips for me now, or he's making some shorts, and I'm not gonna be able to use all of them. I don't want to like bombard my feed with shorts, but it's like, I don't know. Some of them I feel like shorts can be a good thing. I realize. I don't know. Like, I'm still not sold on the idea of shorts, but I realize, I see so many clips out there of myself where, it's just stuff being either taken out of context or it's just on some random thing I said that I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's one way people can consume some of my content. I guess it just makes sense that, well, I should probably start producing some of my own, like some of my own that I'm like, well, yeah, this is a pretty good one to put out there, I think. But I guess I prefer people to, if they're interested, and I know not everybody's going to be able to, but I would prefer them to just come to the stream and try to listen as much as they can. I get it. It's difficult. These are multi-hour streams. Not everybody's going to want to do it, and not everybody's going to be able to do it, but it's just, I feel like, a tough thing because I feel like you miss so much context that can, I think, be a big difference maker. There has to be a reason why Totoki is the interim CEO instead of anybody else. Maybe something big is in the works. It's possible. Figuratively literal. I'm sorry, buddy. I almost missed your super chat. You're saying Mystic reckons that Eric Lempel will be the new CEO. He could be. Yeah. I think that's where I heard that too. Mystic, he brought him up. Eric Lempel, I don't know, man. Maybe he would be I don't know. I can't even begin to determine if he would be a good CEO or not. I don't know much about the guy. Yo, hold on. I got a clip here. I just went on YouTube. Arnold warns we're raising a generation of wimps. Arnold Schwarzenegger warns we're raising a generation of wimps on the Howard Stern show. Should we listen to this? We should totally listen to this, shouldn't we? I'm like really curious. What are we, a generation of wimps? Come on. Stop being such a wimp. Let's listen to it. God, I wasn't even looking for this. This is amazing.
What do you make of this Ozempic? Ozempic seems like it's avoiding the big issue.
Well, to me, it's all about.
Oh, you know what? Have you guys, really quick, have you guys heard about that? Ozempic? Do you guys know what that is? Yeah, it's like a weight loss drug. It seems like it's like I'd have to do more research, but it seems like what it does is it essentially just makes you not hungry. Like it just makes it so you just don't want to eat really that much. Yeah, apparently it is meant for diabetes and diabetics. So I guess I just don't know if they explain what that is, but it is a weight loss drug. But let's listen to this.
Hard work. And that's why I say in my book, work your ass off. And because there's no shortcut. And you have to kind of put the work in. And, I talked earlier about the bicep. The more you kind of torture the bicep, the more resistance you give it and the more pain there is, the more it grows. The same is with us, with the human mind. The human mind can only really grow through resistance. You can only strengthen your character and become a really strong person inside if you have resistance, if you fail, if you get up again, and if you work hard, and if you work your ass off, and if you struggle. The more you struggle, the further you're going to go and the stronger you're going to get. So this is just the way the rule works. Anyone that tries to baby themselves and pamper themselves and trying to protect themselves. Oh, I don't want to feel bad. Oh, I don't really want to go through any discomfort. It's over. You're never going to get there. That's just the way it is. I mean, you have to be able to struggle. And if you're not able to, work on that. Work on that you're learning how to accept pain, misery, and discomfort, all of the things that you don't like, because the more you experience the things that you really don't like, the more you can grow and the tougher you get and the more you can handle. I mean, it's just that simple. So many young kids that they kind of shy away from that, but you have to be attracted to that. Just think about, and I talk about that in the book, I mean, what built this country? What built this country? Is it people that slept in? Is it people that were wimping out? That says, oh, I want to feel good, I want to be comfortable. No, these were ballsy women and men that went out there at 5 a.m. and got up and they struggled and they fought and they worked their butts off. That's what made this country great. And so now let's continue this way. Don't start creating a generation of wimps and weak people and stuff like that, where we go into be concerned about how are you feeling today? Oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings. And also, it's nice to be considerate. Yes, I totally agree with that. But let's not over baby the kids, and let's not over baby kind of the people. I mean, let's go and teach kids to be tough, to go out and do sports, to go and study, to struggle, and, to go through this kind of painful moment sometimes.
Wow, man. I mean, Arnold is out here just preaching the truth, man. Man, this Arnold impersonation is perfect. I think he's right, though. I do. I think he's right. I love what he said at the end there, like, I don't want to be worried about hurting your feelings. Like, there is a line, isn't there? How are you feeling today? I don't care. Go pump the iron. Do it. Absolutely. Dude, he's totally right, though. I mean, there is a line. There is a line. Yeah, he is wise, dude. There's a line between, caring about people's feelings and emotions and basically just turning them into an excuse, right? This reminds me of David Goggins a little bit, where David Goggins, I mean, he's a very extreme example, but there is such a potent message behind just what he does. It's not even what he says. It's literally what he does. He's just explaining what he does. And he's extremely hard on himself. Like, he's harder on himself than anybody ever could be. Again, I think to an extreme degree, but he talks all the time talking about David Goggins. And I think it kind of relates to what Arnold's saying here, where it's like, yeah, I don't want to do this. Yeah, I don't feel like doing this. Yeah, this is uncomfortable. This is unpleasant. This doesn't feel great. But it's like, don't be a bitch. Fucking just bite the bullet. Do what you got to do. And you know what? You know why? You know why they have that attitude? It's not to make people feel like shit. It's not to say you are a bitch. It's saying don't be a bitch, because you can do it. And when you do it, you're going to come out the other side. You're going to feel a lot fucking better. You're going to feel empowered. You're going to realize you went from, I don't want to do this, I don't think I can do this, to, I fucking pushed myself to do it. I did do it. What can I do now? What else can I do? And I think that's all Arnold's speaking to here. And I love that attitude. I do. I think it's hard to maintain that attitude all the time. It is. It's really hard to keep that attitude completely persistent, because we all have those times, man, where it's like, man, I am in the gutter. I am down. Like, even me recently with my diet, right? I haven't been exercising as much. I'm letting my diet slip. And it's like, I feel like shit, not just mentally from it, but physically. Like, I just physically feel like shit. And it can be hard. It's like, okay, well, you get a little out of shape, you get off the track. You got to go through the initial pain again of, yeah, it ain't going to feel good, but it'll be worth it. It's good shit, dude. MBG's costume, bro. MBG is making me not want to quit asking him now. Thanks, man. Well, I mean, if there's a lesson to be learned here, MBG's costume, I guess it's going through just this initial pain, right? Of just gotta persist. In this case, you might not get the reward you're seeking, but maybe it's not always the reward that you're seeking that matters. Maybe it's the journey you take along the way, right? All the moments along the way. So it's so funny. I wasn't even looking for this clip, though. I just went on YouTube and boom. It's a clip of Arnold right there. Good shit. I think it's because he I think it's because he wrote a new book, and I think he's out here promoting it, which is cool. I'm pretty sure I ordered that book. I'd have to go double check. Pretty sure I ordered it, though, like months ago. Where's my participation trophy? I mean, no one wants to lose. No one wants to lose. But I think it was Bruce Lee who once said, defeat is a mindset. Like, defeat isn't real. It's just a mindset. But I think defeat, Bruce Lee didn't say this part, but I think the idea is defeat and losing, it serves a purpose. It does. There's losing in vain, and then there's losing and being able to learn from it, being able to take something from that, where feel that pain and let it teach you something. Pain is a master. Okay? Pain is a master. What that means is pain will teach you. It'll teach you a lot. Pain will make you better. Now, obviously, there's a threshold, just like anything else. Just like pride. Pride can be good. Pride can be bad. Okay? Like being a narcissist and being so far up your own ass that, you think you're better than people. Yeah, that's toxic pride. That's bad pride. That's not good for you. Get rid of that shit. Doing something difficult and achieving something and feeling good about yourself, feeling confident in yourself, feeling confident in your ability. Now that's good pride. not arrogance, right? Just feeling accomplished. It's good shit. It's good shit. Pain is a master. That's why we all play Dark Souls games. It's true. I've now entered the motivational section of the stream. I think it's universal stuff, though, man. It is. I mean, everything we're talking about here also applies to, video games, right? I mean, this is why people argue about should there be an easy mode. I mean, I know Gaming Survivor mentioned jokingly Dark Souls, but that is, people have those conversations all the time. Like, should there be an easy mode? Should there not? I personally feel that it's totally fine if there are difficulty options in a game because it's an option. Okay? If you don't want to take the easy way, you don't have to. No one's making you. But I also think there's nothing wrong with a development team, like From Software, saying, yeah, we're not going to offer that. We want you to suffer. That's part of the game. That's part of the experience. That's fine too. And I think people who complain about that, like, well, I can't play it because I'm not good enough. Okay, what else can't you access in life? There are all things that we can't access in life for certain reasons. I think people who expect, well, you should have a difficulty setting. Where does that come from? The world should bend to me. I'm telling you, man, it's narcissistic. It is. If a developer says we don't want our game to be the most accessible game, we do want there to be a threshold in a bar, that's fine. Let those developers do that. Because you know what? Here's the good news. There's another game out there that does have difficulty settings. I don't know, man. I just think that sometimes people get so far away from reality to a detrimental degree. I'm not saying you have to live your life being like a miserable realist all the time. It's not about that, but it's about understanding that, dude, there are just some realities you can't escape. One of those realities is life is challenging. Life will challenge you. You will win some of those challenges and you will lose some. But the only question you got to ask is, are you growing as a person? Now, it may seem silly, but that can be applicable to games too, man. I'll tell you, I'm telling you, look, I've had some experiences with games that were unpleasant because of the challenge. Like, I was convinced I'm not fucking getting this trophy or beating this boss. Like, I was convinced it's just not going to fucking happen. And I get in that defeatist mindset where it's like, I give up. But, I sit on it for a day or two and I think, let me try again. Maybe it doesn't work, but I try again and again and again. And it's just eventually something happens and it clicks and it works. It's like, I'm kind of fucking glad I didn't give up entirely. Because if I did, I wouldn't have actually done it. It's just the way it is, man. But you know what? There's another side to that coin. Sometimes it's okay to give up. Sometimes it is okay. Now, I don't mean completely. Yeah, I don't mean completely. I guess what I mean to say is sometimes you do hit that brick wall. What leak are you talking about? The leak of life, bro. All right? This is the leak I'm talking about. The leak of life. Sometimes you hit that brick wall and every person has to ask themselves, is this real? Like, do I really want to keep pushing this way? Because there does come a time, I think, in everyone's life where maybe you realize that this isn't for me. Whatever it might be. Maybe you put a lot of time, effort, and energy into it, and you're not really getting anything back from it. And it does feel like you've lost. But maybe it's not that you've lost. Maybe it's just that this really is never was for you. Because there's something else out there that is for you. you're playing the wrong game. Whether that's literally you're playing the wrong video game or metaphorically you're pursuing the wrong thing in life. That's normal too, I think. It all just comes down to, how you feel. What feedback are you getting? And only you know what to do with that feedback. So I don't know how the hell we got it. See, this is what happens. I listen to 1 2-minute clip of Arnold, and then before you know it, I'm out here being like, let me tell you. I appreciate you guys listening to me, though. You could be playing the wrong game and doing the wrong thing in life. Kevin says, my guitar playing will never be as good as Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I have to accept that. And that's okay. Dude, I am like that with playing drums. Like, I like to think I'm pretty good and talented at playing drums, but there are many drummers I look up to, or a lot of times I come across these crazy drum solos and these just very talented individuals on YouTube. And I realize that, like, I'm never going to, I think I could, like, I believe I could be that good if I dedicated my life to, like, mastering the drums and just truly making that my singular goal. Like, I'm putting everything into this. But when I think about what that would require and the difficulty, and I evaluate, like, is that really where I want to go? Is that what I want to do? Well, maybe if my passion was I want to be one of the greatest drummers in the world, or just I want to be, I want to be known for that. Maybe, yeah. But I've accepted that, I'm okay with my skill level, and I drum mainly for fun, just enjoyment. And there's a lot of times where I'm playing along to, like, songs. I drum to a lot of metal, and it can be very difficult. Like, there's just a lot of shit where I'm like, I'm just playing along with them. Like, I'm missing so many notes here. Like, I'm not even close, but I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it, and I'm getting something good out of it, and I don't feel too bad. But then when I see, like, experts, people who are just fucking nailing it. Like, I see people covering Tool songs and whatnot, like, perfectly. I'm like, Jesus, you're basically channeling Danny Carey right now. Yeah, it's like I get a little bit like, damn, I wish I could play that good. Yeah, it's just a hobby. Yeah, I guess that's basically what I'm describing. But I like wish I could play that good, and it would be great, but I just don't have it in me to become that dedicated to master that art form in such a way. And I have immense respect for people who do. Have I seen El Estepario? I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. I think I have come across him a couple times, yeah. And holy shit, he's ow, I keep doing that with my elbow. Absolute beast. Absolute beast, man. There's this one drummer, I don't know, I keep forgetting his name. I came across him a couple times on this YouTube channel called Drumeo. I think he's more of like a jazz drummer. I wish I had his name. He's a younger guy, extremely talented, man. He just absolutely blows me away with some of the drum solos he comes up with, or that he's playing to, and it's just, even as, I don't know, man. Again, like, sometimes I think, oh, I'm pretty decent at drums, and then I come across people like that. It's like, oh my God. Like, that is next level shit, dude. That is next level stuff. You think I'm talking about Phil Collins' son? If you give me a name, I'll be able to tell you if that's him or not. I really wish I could remember his name, because he's really talented. But one of my favorite things to watch on Drumeo, by the way, Japanese cosplay cat drummer. No, that's not the one. I know what you're talking about. That's not the one, though, Shems. But there's this segment that Drumeo does where they bring in professional drummers. I think most recently they had Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they find a song, like a popular song, that somehow these artists have never heard before. And for Chad Smith, it was 30 Seconds to Mars. The Kill, I think that was the song. And somehow Chad Smith claims he never heard this song before. And they do this thing where they have them listen to it without a drum track, and they have to come up with their own drum track for it. And it's just such a cool thing to watch because you listen to these famous songs, you have an idea in your head of what the drums are supposed to sound like. But for people, professional drummers, they've never heard it, and they're like, you know what? I got to come up with my own thing here. They bring their own style to it. It's a very unique thing that Drumeo does, and a very cool thing, and kind of it's very inspiring too, actually, you know. So yeah, good stuff, man. What were we talking about again? Dude, we got totally derailed. I don't know. I think we went from talking about Hiroki to Toki as the new PlayStation CEO or the interim CEO and acquisitions to listening to a motivational talk by Arnold to then getting to this. So I think we've reached the end of this stream. I do. I mean, I've been out of topics for like a good hour or more now, I'm sure, as you can tell. And I think this is going to have to be the end of the line. Heatwave says he likes Sony Core. Yeah, I think that's the name of the new PlayStation Plus benefit. No, it's not Nick Collins. No, I don't think that's him. I'll have to find. I'm sure I'll come across him again, and when I do, I'll pay closer attention. No, it's not Nick Collins. Let me check Drumeo really quick. Sorry. Where is he? I know he's going to show up somewhere here. Grayson Neckrutman. Neckrutman? I don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly, but Grayson Neckrutman, that guy's an absolute beast, dude. Some of the drum solos I've seen him do is just crazy good. But yeah, that's who it was. You're saying plus benefits, MBG, please, before you go. Well, listen, man, I'll just tell you really quick. I would recommend coming back and watching the stream because that's the first topic I talk about, by the way. But the new PlayStation Plus benefit is for premium users. Sony announced that PlayStation Plus premium users will get access to 100 catered Sony Pictures movies, and they're going to be adding some Crunchyroll anime as well. That's the new PlayStation Plus benefit for premium members. All right. So yeah, I recommend coming back, watching the beginning of the stream. We talk all about it. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this stream. It was, it was an okay stream in terms of topics. There's just not a whole lot going on right now. Not too much to discuss. But I think we made the best of it. Again, the main topic was of this leak, and I just want to reiterate, take that leak with a big pinch of salt. We'll have to see if it turns out to be true or not. And yeah, at this point, we'll have to see what the remainder of this month and, the coming week brings in terms of any type of news or updates. And before I go with my outro here, I do want to thank you guys for the support. I want to once again shout out Corey Landiga. Obviously, I appreciate every single person who dropped any membership gifts today, but I have to give a special shout out to Corey because he started off the stream dropping 50 memberships, which is absolutely huge. He's a huge reason why we are sitting at 83 memberships on the day. And even for, again, a stream like this where we don't have the strongest topics, you guys still come out and show incredible support. So to everybody who gifted memberships, getting us to 83, hitting 2 milestones, shout out to you. Thank you. And I also want to thank everybody who donated a super chat. You guys continue to show incredible support. And if it wasn't for that support, I wouldn't be able to do these streams. I wouldn't be able to have these talks with you guys and have, philosophy time and motivational time and everything in between. So yeah, I really do appreciate you guys. You know that. And so what's today? Today's Thursday. So the next stream should be on Sunday. Okay, and we'll see what we have to talk about on Sunday. We'll worry about that when we get there. But I hope you guys show up. We'll be back here same time, same place. I hope, can't make any promises, but I hope to have a video out tomorrow. And then on Saturday, I'm going to have some members content out there for you guys as well. So, yeah. And finally, got to give a big shout out to Devil Shooter for doing the timestamps, and a shout out for doing some shorts as well. Devil Shooter, I also want to let you know, man, I meant to tell you this, but I'll let you know now, assuming I think you're still here. When it comes to making the shorts, man, you don't have to go crazy with it. Like, you don't have to make like 5 or 6 or anything. Like, you just do like 1 or 2. That's perfectly fine. And I'm just going to have to pick and choose which ones I'm going to use. Or if there's times where you're just not up to doing them, man, and that's not something you want to do, don't worry about it. There's no pressure. It's really just a very free-flowing thing. You do it at your leisure. You could not do it at all. It's fine. It's up to you. Totally in your hands, Devil Shooter. But if you see him doing the timestamps in the comments, make sure you show him some love. Give him some thank yous. Yeah, W's in the chat for Devil Shooter. Always showing great support. And that does it. The last thing I'll ask of you guys is, as you head out, please just hit that like button for me. And that does it. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one. So till then,